Final week of the Olympic Games. And it is the final week of the Olympics. And we're also now, get this, we got Major League Baseball also coming up on Friday, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Phillies, I think they start on Saturday in Dunedin against the Blue Jays, who are the defending American League champions. That sound right? Exhibition baseball is here, and Phillies go from Clearwater up to Dunedin. They're in the Tampa Bay area, so they get a chance to play against those defending champions. They don't have Bo Bichette on that Blue Jays team. He's now with the Mets. But exhibition baseball is here. Hey, by the way, news with the Eagles is always here. And it is always, this team never, ever is short of content. And I was listening to Xander and John today, and they were going over Cam Jurgens and what he's now going through with this stem cell research and this procedure that he went through. I should say stem cell research because each and every single month, the NFL Players Association, they come to me and ask me if I want to do stem cell stuff. You can do it in California. You could do it in Mexico. There's a couple places that you can do still in the States, but it's more high tech outside of the country. Like, if you remember right, Christian McCaffrey had to do some stuff with his, I think it was his knee, and he did that in Europe. Do you guys remember when Peyton Manning hurt his neck and he couldn't do a procedure in America, so he had to go overseas to do that also with his neck? So do NFL players do this on a regular basis? They're starting to do it more and more. And get this, it's not really supposed to be recommended by the NFL doctors. So what you do is you get your second opinion, you get your own physician, and your physician will look into it for you and give you an opportunity to try to go through research that or procedures that traditionally are done here in America. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30. And I'm going to tell you, again, Florida does stem cell work too. Yes, there's certain states that allow this. California does a little bit of it too. Arizona does it. Mike Golick has contacted me numerous times. I know Mike Golick has gone through stem cell stuff. I guess it was a bad knee he had. So let me give you guys a little bit of, and somebody sent me what Cam Jurgens is going through. Now, he goes down to Medellin. Now, people have gone there. I know a lot of people who have gone to Medellin, Colombia to get this stem cell procedure done. So let me give you exactly what's going on with him. We should probably get also, a doctor on and get his opinions on it too. Using stem cell, it repairs or replaces really like tissues that have been damaged. And it's diseased or dysfunctional tissues that are dying. This is how it works. Now, the NFLPA sent me this. Stem cells are introduced into the body to target the injured areas where they can deteriorate into needed tissues and to reduce inflammation. He's probably got a lot of swelling in his lower back. Okay? Applications. Common use include treating blood cancers, leukemia, orthopedic injuries, arthritis, ligament damage, and in research potential treatments for diabetes. The risk and considerations. While promising, some procedures are experimental, and that's why he's in Medellin. Okay? Potential risks include immune injection, infections, and tumor formations. So caution, patients should be wary of these crazy clinics. And I'm not saying he's at one. I'm sure he did all of his research. Selling unproven and expensive procedures. By the way, this ain't cheap. Okay? This ain't cheap. Seals, it's my birthday. Do that. Do the M-Rays bird feed, John. Shit is hilarious. Howie. There you go. Happy birthday, brother. I appreciate you too. Re-upping here. Oh, yeah, that's Ed Reyes right there. There you go. He's under Howie's desk. Oh, you know. He's under Howie's desk. Happy birthday to you, homie. Appreciate you doing this, right? Yeah, hey, listen. I'm not very high on what's going on here with Cam Jurgens. I think this guy's finished. I think he's finished. I mean, I told you he's never going to be same. You've got to go, and you got to go overseas like this, and you're doing procedures like this, and you can't go through normal surgeries to fix your back, and you got to go through experimental surgeries. You're in bad shape. I mean, you're in bad shape, dude. This is when you leave the country to get a surgery on a back, and you can't get it done with the surgeons that we have in America, and you got to get experimental. This is not just treatments. This is a procedure to try to get deteriorated disc like regenerated again. His discs are like they're dying. And it's in his back. It's one thing to be in your ankle or knee. He's a center. It's a procedure, I know, Bo. It's a procedure to try to get those nerves in those cells back going with blood in it again, right? That's what stem cell research is. We get that stuff all the time in the mail for me to go do that. I get asked by the NFLPA to do this shit all the time. I think this is, hey, this procedure right here is telling you that the surgeries didn't work. Now listen, did the tush push ruin him? It may have. Look at all the guys. You know, I wrote a topic down here. Hey, with Cam Jurgens being injured. So let me ask you something here. Cam Jurgens is a wreck right now. Lane Johnson is debating on retirement and coming back for one more year. The left guard's had 13 surgeries. What's your O-line under Chris Cooper going to be in 2026? How you feeling about that O-line? Hey, fuck the quarterback. How about the O-line? And you let Jeff Stoutland walk out the door? Help me out here. So let's put this out there again. I'm more concerned maybe about the O-line than anything else. Dude, the quarterback, screw the quarterback if he can read a defense. If the O-line is in shambles like this is, hey, how many people think this offensive line's in shambles right now? You got a guy doing a procedure in a foreign country to try to get his nerves back in his lower back. You got Lane Johnson coming back, and you don't know what version you're going to get of Lane. And you got a surgery of 13 on your left guard. What are we talking? And you got a new O-line coach. I mean, do you think they're getting away from running the ball because they have to? We promised our organization line for a short yardage play. Yes, Lane is injured. Cam is injured. Landon is injured. That's 3 guys down. Bro. Right? Where are you going here? Ask yourself about the 2026 offensive line here. I mean, dude. Nope, O-line finally getting healthy now. They're just fine. Guy just went to Columbia to do a procedure on his back. Landon Dickerson has got 13 surgeries, and Lane Johnson wasn't healthy at the end of the year. They're healthy and they're getting back. This guy can't be dumber. And you know what he is? He's a dude that stands on an anthill. Hey, M. Reyes, every single day I count on your dumbness to continue a segment. Thank you very much for your idiotic takes It goes so far, believe me. Everyone knows it now. You're a buffoon. Extra tied on Hurts uniform this season. Sacked. Round one, essentially going to tell us how they think of our O-line, especially if they take the Penn State guard in the first round. Absolutely. Everyone's fine. Long as we have Lane and Mulata, we're fine. Long as you have Lane, what version of Lane you getting back at 36? Okay? It did? I saw him get his ass kicked in the Niner game. You must have saw a different game because here he is. Hey, birthday kid. I saw Carter get his ass whooped. Trade AJ for offensive line. Yeah, no, that ain't working. Still sounds like Cam is down to his last option to fix his back. That's a very good take. Most people don't do it unless there's no other option. Correct. And the American doctors and the team doctors can't suggest it for anything in the States because it'd be illegal practice because you can't get it done in some places, especially with what he probably did. Carter didn't. No, he had plasma. Correct. 2 different procedures. That's correct. Numb nuts. Not you, Denny. Yeah. It was a plasma. It was injections. Yeah, but no. M. Reyes, the new doctor. He's like CNN. I'm a COVID-19 doctor. Then I'm a tariff expert. Seals, we need 2 OGs and our center's jacked up. Might not seem right, but I do what I can do to sign Tyler Linderbaum, the kid from Baltimore. If he can play, move him the right guard. You win in the middle. Absolutely. I got you. Hey, Denny, yeah, all you, man. You're good. You got good takes. M. Reyes has got takes like, hey, I mean, like, M. Reyes is he's got takes like the Jets. If I was going to compare him to an NFL team, it'd be the Jets. Yeah, the fucking Jets. Jurgens, now like Steve Miller's song, take the money and run. How he has a lot of work to do. How you doing, man? Dr. Reyes. Sounds like the name of the doctor doing cam stem cells in Colombia. Dr. Reyes. Dr. Reyes, I guarantee you he works on the gluteus maximus. Don't you think? Sills, do you think the 2024 run game and long season contributed to this? I do. KC got it done for years, but that was in the pass-focused offense, and they spread the ball out. Absolutely. What was the last time the Eagles traded for a starting O-lineman? Jason Peters? That sounds about right. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind taking Sayamalo back. I wouldn't. Oh, I have a great topic coming up here. Holy shit, we're going to do it here in a minute here, bud. I'm more concerned about this O-line. Right? The O-line. More like Cleveland shit stains. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Center depth looks good. I'd be interested to hear Sill's opinion on Kendall's preseason and Week 18 start. I thought he played well in limited snaps. I like Lampkins too. Yep. So Chris Cooper now is your O-line coach. And we're going to get to that here in a minute. Get this. Everything's perfect in Philly now. New offense, OTW, Vic Fangio back, Lane's back. Can't wait. All right. Now we go to the topic. So let me get this here. Xander, by the way, Angelo Cataldi at 3:30. And Big Z at 4:30. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top, as you can see. All right. So Sean Mannion, 33. Chris Cooper, who's never coached an offensive line as the head guy except for the Minnesota Vikings. New offensive line coach. And now you have Parks Frazier as your quarterback coach, and he's 34. You got a 33-year-old offensive coordinator who's never called plays, and you got a 34-year-old quarterback coach in Parks Frazier. Jason Peter wasn't an O-line. He was a tight end in Buffalo when he traded for him. Do all research. Jason Peters is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame as an offensive as an offensive tackle. So what do you make of these hires? Zero experience. Except for maybe Josh Gazard. What do you make of all this? I fired a 34-year-old Parks Frazier. So let me see Parks Frazier. Let me see who he is. Hey, he probably has a deep resume. I'm assuming. But then again, I shouldn't assume anything when it comes to the Eagles. So he's 34. He was a defensive quality control coach in 15. That's not a job. He was a graduate assistant, a GA at Arkansas State in 16 and 17. That's a nothing job. He was an assistant to the head coach in Indianapolis, 18 and 19. That's a get my coffee job. That's not a job. He was a quality control coach in 20. That's not a job. He was the assistant quarterback coach in 21 and 22. That's not a job. He was the interim offensive coordinator in 22. That's a job. Carolina, he was the pass game coordinator in 23. I have to ask you guys something. In 2023, he was the pass game coordinator? Will somebody help me out on something here? Was Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, was he on that team? I don't think Mayfield was Darnold on that team, or was Darnold in the was he already in San Francisco? I'm going to assume Sam Darnold in 23 was in San Francisco and Baker was already in Tampa Bay. Because 22, I think, was Brady's last year. 20, 21, 22. So I'm going to assume that Parks Frazier was there the rookie year of Bryce Young. Darnold was in San Fran? Thanks. Okay. Not my point, Sills. I know he was a Hall of Famer, but when we go to him, he was failing tight end in Buffalo. Okay. All right. I got you, bro. Thank you, Marsh. Appreciate that too very much. Thank you. It was Bryce Young's rookie year. So he was the OC in Bryce Young's rookie year. Not OC. What was he, Parks? He was the pass game coordinator. Well, they benched him that season, right? They put Andy Dalton in. Did they not? Right? So they benched him. Was it his call to bench him? Because he's gotten better. Over the last couple of years, Bryce Young's gotten better. Bryce Young put his team in the playoffs, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young actually beat the Rams this year. Okay, so again, I'm trying to get context here on who this guy is. So he was the offensive assistant in the Dolphins. That's not really a job. Pass game coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And in 2025, Parks Frazier was the pass game coordinator for the 25th ranked passing attack. And they elevated him to the quarterback coach? So wait a minute. Let me get this right. Parks Frazier was the pass game coordinator last year? Is that right? They were 25th. And he got elevated to QB coach. Is that right? Yeah. Pass game coordinator in 25. And in 2026, he's now the quarterback coach. Okay. Well, I didn't know that the pass game. So he gets elevated and Kevin Petullo gets demoted. He was just as responsible for the pass game as Kevin Petullo was, wasn't he? How do you get a raise? I mean, how do you get a raise? Yeah, JP had already moved to left tackle when we traded for him. He's still young at the position now. I got it. He's right. Hey, Marsh is right. He primarily played TE. I know all this about him. All of these moves seem rushed and disjointed. Well, let me ask you this. All these guys that they hired, these are all dudes nobody wanted. Maybe because he was assistant quarterback coach in 2021. You know Sirianni's logic. I guess so. Hey, listen, I'm not ripping anything yet. But what are they doing here? Why so young and inexperienced? Why have they gone this lane? What's Jaylen think of this? What does that experienced offensive line think of this? You get rid of Stoutland. You bring in a 43-year-old guy who failed in Minnesota as the O-line coach. You hire a guy in 34 years of age as the new quarterback coach who really didn't do anything with Jalen Hurts. Everyone said he had to have a great year a year ago. And he was part of the passing game and putting the passing game coordinator to go. And Sean Mannion, young guns? That's what you're looking for? Young guns? People who've never done shit before? You got a 33-year-old coordinator who's been a coach for 25 months. Parks Frazier's never really had a job. Now he's the QB coach. Chris Cooper failed miserably in Minnesota. They didn't redo his deal. The guy stunk so bad. Help me out here. Where are we going? Okay? Help me out here. What's going to be the excuse when all these amazing coaches in charge land don't get it done yet again this year? It'll be, guess this, it'll be the coaches' issues. It's like a built-in excuse for Nick. It's like a built-in excuse for Jalen. Sills, he was in Carolina when Frank was the coach. I got it. Frank's brought him around. Frank said it on the program. He likes Parks. He thinks he's a smart kid. I heard the same shit about Kevin Patullo. Don't you get it? You're missing the point here. I heard this same stuff last year about Kevin Patullo. It's like they're filling positions just to fill them. Manning doesn't have enough time in the league to have developed relationships in a network. It's a disaster. My question, hey, listen, Rasputin, this thing could go on to turn out to be one of the greatest coaching staffs of all time. But you're doing, I mean, let me see if they've updated their let me see if they've updated their coaching thing. I don't believe it. Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see if they've updated this. And let's go to coaching staff here, team. So let me go to coaching staff. Coaches. Okay. So Parks Frazier is new. Passing game coordinator, that's Christian Parker still. No, there's still guys. They haven't updated it. I don't know who these guys are. I have no idea. They asked Stout to stay on their terms. You missed it, dude. He's not telling you the truth. Hey, take this job or leave. You know how you can get rid of somebody? Hey, guess what we're going to do? We're going to clip your wings and we're going to tell you you're not going to be the run game coordinator. Either take this job or you can go. Here's the job we're offering. And if the guy doesn't want the job, that's a way of pushing someone out the door. Here, get this. Bob, MS, I know, which is why this makes no sense on the other side of the ball. Right, you got all these experienced guys you hire and you bring in really quality good guys on defense. And you bring none of these guys. These are all Nick's buddies. These are guys that are like Nick's buddies. It's like a fraternity. Let's see. We already know what you're going to you're going to do. You're going to give Barkley the ball and pass to AJ and Smitty. We already have the structure. We're looking for new ideas. New ideas for guys who have never had jobs? RC3. Really? You're looking for ideas from dudes that have never done it? What an awful take. The same philosophy of hiring coaches on the defensive side seems not to apply on the offensive side. Guys, this is my question to you. What's going on here? This makes no this makes no sense. You hire Parks Frazier, he was a passing game coordinator for Bryce Young, and they yanked him, and they were doing a terrible job with Bryce Young in his rookie year. So bad so, they benched him. He goes to Indianapolis because he's Frank's guy, or he was in Indy because he was Frank's guy. And Frank and Nick have a great relationship. Hey, guess what? The thing I said to you why Frank didn't take that job, it is now even coming more to a head here. Frank didn't want the job because he doesn't want to be involved in all this. Why, if you worked for Frank, why didn't you hire Frank? It's fine, Sills. They all will come in and leave. Nick is on the hot seat. All right, well, let me bring this topic up now. I say this, and you tell me if you disagree. By the way, guys, I appreciate that very much. All the supers, thank you, guys. Please hit the like button. Angelo Cataldi is going to join us at 3:30. All right. Has Nick Sirianni, and this is my opinion. This is not a fact. This is my opinion. Has Nick Sirianni made coaching in Philadelphia undesirable? Yes or no? You hired people that no one else would have hired. Has Nick made coaching in Philly undesirable? Okay? I want you to think about what I just said. Has Nick Sirianni, if you're an assistant coach, has he made it undesirable to want to coach here? Name me one fucking guy with any experience on offense. Name me one. Dude, people want to work for Vic. Look at the guys you hired. These are people no one would have hired. Nobody would have hired these guys. Who? Chris Cooper? Nobody was knocking his door down to be an offensive line coach. Nobody was knocking Sean Mannion's door down to be a offensive coordinator. Nobody was knocking down Parks Frazier for being a quarterback coach. Yes, there's already proof of that. Hell yes. That shit brain made it undesirable. I'm gonna ask Angelo that at 3:30. You pick wrong part of the McVay tree. Yes, bring back Peterson. I would love to see Peterson with Hurts. He said it on this program that he would do it. Seals, tell me one thing, please. Nick does, and I'll wait. He kisses Howie's ass and the owner's ass. Great. That's why he keeps his gig. And by the way, that debate that Xander and I have, okay, about him getting it all the credit when they win, and no one wants to give it to him. Well, again, when he can't figure it out and he can't beat teams like San Francisco because he's not a good coach, it's not that I don't give him credit. or I blame him for that. I never thought he was a good coach in the beginning. I think he's become a really good front office type coach, which means he doesn't really have any responsibilities in coaching. They haven't fucking developed anybody. Who they developed? Who have they developed on offense? The quarterback? They haven't developed that guy. He's regressed. A.J. Brown, who was, hey, by the way, Devontae Smith has not developed. You throw to two guys, right and left, right and left. You don't have a progressing passing game. When only two people get the ball, and the majority, they get 70% of the footballs thrown to them. Okay? You think Nick Sirianni developed Jordan Mailata. You might want to think Jeff Stoutland every single time the guy goes on television, RC3, and says, I went to Stoutland University. I don't hear him say, fucking, I went to Sirianni University. Okay? So wait a minute. This guy, get this, folks, RC3 thinks that Nick Sirianni developed Jordan Mailata and not Jeff Stoutland. Okay. Well, Jeff Stoutland was coaching Hall of Fame players before Nick even showed up. And also, too, he had a nice Super Bowl ring on his finger before Nick even showed up. Yeah, Nick Sirianni developed Jordan Mailata. Are you crazy? He developed Jordan Mailata. That's an M. Reyes take, dude. For Nick being hired as an offensive guru was a joke. That was the hire. They hired him because he was a guru. Scott was coaching Hall of Fame players when Sirianni was still getting his ass whipped by his mama. This guy's been coaching Hall of Fame players his entire career. Look at what he did at Alabama. So let me get this right. Stoutland's got national title rings. Hey, Xander, Stoutland won a national title at Alabama, right? So he's got a national title ring and he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Really? You're trying to tell me you think Nick developed Jordan Mailata? Got to be kidding me, guy. So those experienced coaches don't want to make a one-year stop. These kids are auditioning for future jobs, and how he's getting up close. Look at him. Audition season. That's what this looks like. You're dead right. So I'll ask you one more time. Hey, Prince, Sirianni's made this place undesirable to want to be an assistant coach, don't you think? Don't you think? Dude, all the experienced coaches didn't even give it a thought to coach here. These fans will praise Nick and shit on the players. I'm just asking a question here. Look at the people you've hired. Dude, you know why you're getting away with it on defense? Because people want to work for Vic. Nick's not making those decisions over there on who to hire as a defensive back coach. That's Vic Fangio. Only thing Nick has developed is how to give a word salad press conference. He's gotten better at it. Here, folks, you got to have the other side. This is what we do here. We got to have the other side. Nick had the authority to be like, nah, fuck that. We don't need Fireman Part 2 when we draft. But Sirianni let it happen. A head coach makes executive decisions. This guy thinks that Nick Sirianni makes executive decisions without going to Howie, when he praises Howie every single day for all the things Howie does. And for Mr. Laurie. Calls him Mr. Laurie. Let me hook you up on something. If I work for somebody, I don't call him Mr. I do a service for you too, dude. He's not my dad. I call my dad or somebody else or an elderly guy. Like, hey, mister, I may. But if I work for you, dude, hey, we have a working relationship here. You're not my father. Who said Nick developed Mailata? I'm right. RC3 said it. He said that Nick Sirianni developed Jordan Mailata. See, I need my freaking wrench back. When I got in trouble, just then, big a dumbass. Absolutely no. It was them. RC3 said that that Nick Sirianni developed Jordan Mailata. Okay. So let me wait. One more thing, too. So you're going to draft the first round offensive lineman and you're going to have Chris Cooper develop him? Didn't the Vikings draft an offensive lineman and a high pick the last 2 years, and the guy was a shit show? Is that what you're going to do? Executive decisions. Nick's balls are clipped and keeps how he's. Sills, doesn't Sirianni have leverage because of his record? Yes. Yes. By the way, here's what I'll give Nick credit for. Being a political head coach, knowing the temperature. Can I tell you what that means? Never go to bat for your coaches or you lose your job. You know the fastest way to lose your job as a head coach? Stick up for Press Taylor. Stick up for a guy like Tony Dungy did when he had an offensive coordinator. And he wanted to stick up for him. Or like Mike Munchak when he was sticking up for an offensive line coach and he quit the Tennessee Titans. You want to get fired? Stick up for an assistant coach that they want to make a move on. That's how you get fired. You know how Nick will never be fired? He ain't going to battle for anybody. He's not. Now, I've got to tell you, I think the only guy he may have battled for was Kevin Patullo. Because Kevin Patullo was not fired. Kevin Patullo was demoted and then left for the Miami Dolphin job. Look what happened when they brought in Kellen Moore. When they brought in Kellen Moore, they ended up going to a heavy run and the quarterback couldn't do it. Well, the quarterback, again, like everyone said that year in 24, he didn't need to. I got to tell you this. How about this dual threat? Don't you think that 24 exposed Hurts more? When, I remember Colin Cowherd going on the air saying, it's pretty wild to sit there and go to the quarterback and tell him, hey, guy, I don't need you to do anything. Just don't turn the ball over. That's kind of wild. Right? Mark was in the chat. It was going to be on the show. Mark saw him and gave him a boot. Imagine Sills calling Zan. Dude, I'll tell you what. I'm not talking about disrespecting people. I'm just talking about, hey, when people work for other people, you're doing a service too. You got a working relationship, not a father-son relationship. It's one thing if I'm living in the Krause's house or something. That's a different story. When you work for people, you got to have a business relationship. Mr. Laurie? Is he your fucking dad? But by the way, I'm not talking about shitting and disrespecting people. I respect a lot of folk. Says, you think Stout would ever consider coming back if Nick gets fired? Depends who the head coach is. Like, would Jeff Stoutland come back if Mike Tomlin was the coach? Hell yeah. Right? Stout chose to leave. Get over you sound like a sad ex-girlfriend. The front office is moving in a different direction. Okay. Hey, Big Ed, what direction is that? What direction is that? 33 and 34-year-old coaches that have never done it? Hook me up here, Big Ed. Hey, hook me up here. What moving in what direction is this? What direction is this? Into the land of the unknown? How about the guys you hired? You didn't hire anybody wanted. There's not one dude on that offensive staff anybody wanted. Nobody. The O-line coach was relieved of his duties, or they didn't redo his contract. They wanted him out. You picked him up. How about this? How many people believe that the O-line coach that you replaced Stoutland with you think is a top flight guy. I would do everything in my power if I was Howie to get Tomlin in here in 26 after this entire staff gets set to the sun. Absolutely. Hey, watch this. Got to have the other side. You got to have buffoonery here. The direction of hiring young, talented coaches. How do you know they're talented? They haven't been in the league long enough. That word hopefully is not a strategy. Don't get poached. He thinks these coaches that were just hanging around here. Hey, guys, the last game was what, January 4th? What was the last football game in the regular season? It was January 4th. That's over a month and a week ago. And these dudes that you hired, nobody wanted. Nobody wanted these guys. We wanted coaches who playbook wasn't already out there. You wanted coaches, you mean who don't have a playbook. How could he have a playbook? Parker is poached? These guys, I mean, hey, listen. He makes the show sound smarter because I'm the one talking, and this guy here has no brains. It's great. M. Reyes, the more he talks, the smarter I look. Seals, if a team gets rid of the entire offense and changes to an offense that your quarterback is not suited for, it tells you that this is Jalen Hurts' last year. I happen to agree with you. No matter what happens, it's going to be the same results. If Jalen is here, the book is out. He can't bail out the offense. He's not getting any faster. Yeah, he's not going to run. Only thing these other coaches are poaching are eggs. Because I represent the people with IQs higher than turnip cells. Hey, M. Reyes, guys, this guy thinks that the people that they've hired, that's a smart move. How come you couldn't hire anybody you wanted? M. Reyes, how come you couldn't hire anybody you wanted? Well, let me guess. This is the coaching staff offensively you wanted. Is that right? These were your number one choices when it came to a coordinator. Is that right? A quarterback coach who you elevated from within, who was the pass game coordinator a year ago, and the pass game blew. So these are the guys that they wanted. These are their number one choices, in your opinion. If it's so great to coach in Philly, these are the people they wanted from the beginning, right? Chris Cooper to replace Stoutland. They elevated. Why did they wait so long to elevate Parks Frazier? He was in the building. Why didn't they do it right away when they hired the offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion? How come they just didn't fire Loeffler right away and elevate him? How come they waited until February 17th? Did they want somebody else? Or no? So these are the guys they wanted from day one. Every one of these guys. Is that right? Here's another Einstein. If the Eagles have success this season, Jalen does great. You have 5 years worth of bad takes from Sills. Actually, I've had one bad year. 24. 22, I was correct. 21, I was correct. 23, I was nails correct. 24, absolutely bad. 25, nails down. Completely right about your team. Seals, this team, and by the way, I'm not wrong about Hurts in his skill set. I'm not wrong about him. And by the way, your coach thinks that way about him. Seals, this team is bipolar. We hire experience on D and develop players, but on O, we hire kids that chase off experience. I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, dude. And Reyes says Hurts after altar prayer. That's funny. Niners are a dumpster every year except 23 when they almost had it. Yeah, they were lead going into the final frame of that overtime game against Kansas City. Okay? Seals, you shit on Hurts every year, though. Well, because I don't believe he's an elite guy. I think he's a really good player. He's just not like one of the elite guys in the game. And you guys make him out to be, and he's not. I think the general manager's elite. Here, I'll tell you what's elite on your team. The GM, the owner in many ways, the D coordinator's elite. Mulata and Lane are elite. Cooper's elite. Q's elite. That Bobby King, that linebacker coach, and Clint Hurt, those guys are elite. Those guys are good. That's about it. But I don't think he sucks. Prince, I don't think he sucks. 2024 Super Bowl MVP means you were wrong on Hurts every take for 4 years. Not true. I don't really look at the MVP of the Super Bowl like you do. He played 60 minutes of football, dude. He didn't play 6 months of great football that year. He had a really good Super Bowl. I saw Nick Foles have a great Super Bowl. I saw Nick Foles almost do the same exact thing that Jalen Hurts did. Had a good NFC championship game and had a Super Bowl. Nick Foles ain't elite. And Nick Foles is a better passer in the pocket than Jalen. I mean, dude, Nick Foles is a better quarterback in the pocket than Jalen Hurts will ever be. And he's a better athlete. Great playoff run. He didn't have a great playoff run. Hurts didn't have a great playoff run the Super Bowl year. Yeah, but Nick Foles never had an All-Pro, and what Nick Foles won the Super Bowl MVP. Carson Wentz did. Carson Wentz finished second in the MVP voting. Carson Wentz is a Pro Bowler. Carson Wentz has the records for single-season passing in Philadelphia Eagle history. He's the only quarterback ever to throw for 4K in your history. He's thrown for 30 touchdowns. He owns single-season records in both distinctions. You know that? Seals, do you believe 26 will implode? I do. Because of all the offensive hires, I do. I don't buy it. I've never seen it work like this. I've never seen that. If you would have kept Stoutland, maybe. And if you're going to draft hey, by the way, you're going to draft an offensive lineman and have Chris Cooper develop him. Let me hook you up on a little history on Chris Cooper, the new O-line coach. Here, I'll show you something here. Somebody sent this to me. I got to put this up here. So Minnesota Vikings, they parted ways with Chris Cooper after a failed overhaul of the offensive line this season. Vikings part ways with coach after major blunders. Those were the headlines in Minnesota. Okay? Those were the headlines for him. Seals, what are the chances the Eagles get Sellers next year? I like that kid. No. I think they're going to be improved. But to win the division, I don't think that much improvement. Like, they might win 7 games. Look, I think the team that wins the NFC East this coming season be about a 500 team. There aren't that many elite players in the NFL. There's only a handful. Well, Prince, I saw, like I said, you're right. You don't have to be elite to win a Super Bowl. Last 2 years, 2 quarterbacks that are not elite won Super Bowls. Hurts and Darnold. Foles got paid like he was elite after the bowl. Okay. That don't mean he's elite. Remember this, Ramir. Paychecks don't mean you're elite. Paychecks mean that you paid the next guy because, like you guys say, that's the market. That doesn't mean he deserves it. People think when these quarterbacks get paid that that's automatically a sign that they're elite. You think Trevor Lawrence deserves $55 million? Do you? Kyler Murray, 48. Me personally, I'm doing what Seattle did and what Philly does. I'm going to put my time and money. Do you know what does Philadelphia do better than the Bills? What do they do better than the Bills? What do you think? As far as I'm concerned, Philadelphia got a gold mine in Hurts at $50 million. They ain't paying him more than that. For what? He doesn't do more than that. You know why? It's easier to build around him. Don't turn the ball over. Howie goes out, and they do a great job at building the team. Buffalo doesn't do a good job building around Allen. They use Allen the same way the Bengals use Burrow. They feel if you got a superstar player, I don't have to do as much and spend as much. It's cheaper to spend money on guys like Kyler Murray. And it's cheaper to spend money on guys like Joe Burrow than to sit there and have to pay money for Trey Hendrickson, or for Jesse Bates, or to build a team. The Eagles will spend money. Remember, you have a $200 million offensive side of the ball payroll. Name me a team in the NFL that has a $200 million offensive payroll. You can't find one. You can't. And the only reason that Seattle, which will come to a decision that they're going to have to make, you're going to have to pay JSN. You're going to have to pay that offensive line. Are you going to pay Kenny Walker? He's on a rookie deal still from Michigan State. Are you going to pay that? That'll be interesting since the team's for sale. Paul Allen's wife doesn't own the team anymore. Who's going to pay him? Hey, don't say sure. That's not how this works. You know how you hide behind bad decisions? You have an elite quarterback. Look at Dallas. Dallas has an elite quarterback, and they do shit with him. That's spending money on defense. They got rid of Michael Parsons. They didn't want to pay $41 million. So they got rid of him. They're spending all their money on CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, probably. The offensive line's all on rookie deals. It's cheaper. It's cheaper for the Cowboys to spend $150 million on 3 dudes than to build a team. It's not the point whether he chokes in December. You're missing the point. You don't have to fucking build a team and spend a ton of money like Jeffrey Lurie does. 8 wins, new quarterback in week 10 will start. Goober Sirianni will be fired. Barkley will be benched, and AJ will run off the field with his shirt off. Holy cow, you're trying to tell me that you're going to have another Antonio Brown? Seals, thoughts on Chubb and Hill to the Birds. All right. I think I got that here. Nick Chubb had great years in Denver. Who was the head coach? Who was the head coach in Denver when Chubb played there? Anybody know? Anybody know who the head coach was in Denver when Nick Chubb played there? Vic, right? Does anybody know when Chubb was traded to Miami, who the DC was in Miami? Anybody know? Was Vic, right? Well, I think Bradley Chubb's a better ball player than Jalen Phillips. Not by a lot. I think they're pretty compatible with one another. And 2023, I think Chubb missed the whole year. It's concerning. He's 28. But Chubb's going to cost you around 12 to 14 million, 12 to 13 million. I'd rather pay for that than 23 million, 24 million for Jalen Phillips. That's going to fit right up Howie's road, man. 13 to 14 million. Bring Bradley Chubb in. Replace Jalen Phillips with him. I think you get the same guy, 10 million cheaper. I could take that money and maybe offer it up to Nakobe to try to entice him to stay. It's kind of what I would do. Bradley Chubb's a good player. He had 8.5 sacks this last year in a shitty organization run by Stephen Ross. I mean, Stephen Ross, dude, you want to know what a bad organization is? All right. So the tank for Tua and the era of tank for Tua, you could have took Justin Herbert, but you tanked for Tua. It cost you your GM and Chris Greer. It cost you Brian Flores. It cost you Mike McDaniel. And it cost you Tagovailoa. And you did not win a playoff game in that entire time. I mean, what were you tanking for? It's a complete disaster. Herbert's ass? Well, he's 2-1 against you. Actually, I think he's 3-1. Rather draft a young player at edge. So wait a minute, Flexen. You'd rather draft a young player at edge. You mean like what, Nolan Smith? Because why? Howie's gotten edge rushers right? You may have gotten it right with Alex Hunt. Name me one guy he's hired and drafted in the last 10 years at edge that you went, wow. Outside of, we think Jalen Hunt can be that guy. Name me one guy. Give me one edge rusher, actually, in the last 15 years that they've drafted. Okay? Okay, Josh Sweat. BG wasn't drafted in the last 15 years. Sweat. Who else? Gonna be? Wake me up when that happens. Sweat. Barnett's not a... You're going to try to tell me you think Derek Barnett, one guy in 15 years, one guy at edge, one dude, okay? Yes, I did. One player. Thank you for the cement. One player, you're right, in 15 years in the draft. And then you know what they did? They let him walk. They let him walk, and then they let Derek Barnett was not good. Thank you. He was okay. Okay? So think about it. One guy in 15 years, and you let him walk. And you want him to go in the draft and pick up a guy that you think he's going to land on instead of going for the sure thing. Hey, dude, there's a reason free agency is a lesser of a gamble. It just costs you more. You'll always win the debate. He's not an elite quarterback because there's only 4 or 5 that's white guys, Daniel Jones. That's right. Ramir. Well, if he's not elite, I'm not going to pay elite money. I'm going to use that money to build my team. Jalen Hurts is now like the 11th or 12th highest paid quarterback. I think the $50 million that they have with him right now, I think that's a steal. But to me, I'm not paying more than that. He's not going to give me more than that. He's not going to evolve. And by the way, I think it's crazy that the Eagles are expecting him to do and go over and above when other quarterbacks in the league don't have to go over and above. They could just be themselves. Like, they want Jalen to elevate his game with a new offense. Why? Keep building the team. You don't want to spend money on offense now? You're asking him to do shit I don't believe he can do. Or they would have done it. I'm not in disagreement. I'm totally not in disagreement with you. I think what they need to do is continue to keep the pace of what they do. Keep bringing good players in. Bring some free agents in. If you lose AJ, fine. Replace AJ. But not with a dude. Replace him. If you want to keep making Jalen Hurts the quarterback of your team moving forward, when you replace AJ, you can't replace AJ with Jahan Dotson. You got to replace him with George Pickens or people like that. I'm just making an example. Like when you replace one day Barkley, you got to replace Barkley with like Bijan Robinson. You're just not going to replace Barkley with a dude. Max Crosby, I'm not spending $35 million on an edge rusher that I think is overrated. I think he's a fine player. I think he's great. I think he's a wonderful dude. $35 million? This guy makes what? $15 million less than my QB? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Dude, I'll take that money. Look, I'll sign Chubb. The other 10, I'll give it to Nakobe. Kobe. I'll kick it up to $13 million. I want you to be the replacement for Zach Bond in a year. Because we're going to move off of Zach Bond. That's your fucking job. Then you have an even stronger linebacking core. And you keep him at a reduced rate. And you keep him at 13 and you got a hometown deal because if the guy balls out next year, he's a $17, $18 million guy if he ever stays healthy. And what you do is you bring in Chubb at 12. Instead of paying 26 or 24, 23 even, for Jalen Phillips. Let him go to Tennessee and get murdered. I agree. Khalil Mack, look, I'm looking to get great players in. I'm not looking to get fossils. Seals, would you sign Mac Jones and trade McKee? Why in God's name would the 49ers trade Mac Jones when Brock Purdy's consistently been hurt 2 of the last 3 years? If I'm Kyle Shanahan, that guy, to me, if the only way I'm getting rid of Mac Jones is give me a second rounder. And it better be a high second rounder. I'm not just hey, here's a 4th rounder. Go ahead, take Mac. And then what? I lose Purdy and I got who? Nobody's like Trey Lance? I know he's not there. He's in Los Angeles. Yeah, but you can trade for him. It doesn't mean hey, when you're under contract, you can trade for people. Seals, what do you think the price tag for Devin Lloyd? Somebody sent me something on him. Devin. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will join us at the bottom of the hour. He's going to be in the $13 to $17 million range. You're looking at potentially 3 years. Projected at a 3-year. No, it's wrong. $20 million. 3 years, $60.4 million. That's what you're looking at for him. He's already is set to earn right now in 26, 14.75. He's a $20 million. Dude, these guys are not cheap. They're not. Dudes like Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd, these are $20 million a year guys. That's right. Barkley played a huge role in both Super Bowls. Excuse me? What are you talking about here? That's right. Barkley wasn't here for the first one. What's the point? Yeah, that's when he ran the offense through AJ. And A.J. Brown was one of the reasons that you got there. And Jalen was an RPO running. Here, in 2022, Jalen had 800 yards rushing. This last year, he had half that. Half that. And by the way, in 14, he had one of the worst years of any starting quarterback in pro football who played north of 15 games. 2,900 yards and 18 touchdowns. That's shit you do at Army. If Jalen is so elite, put him on the Bills. They won't win 5 games. Of course they won't win 5 games. Devin Lloyd does not put his hand in the dirt. He's an edge guy, though, and plays outside LB. I think he's a hell of a player. Somebody's going to get a hell of a player. Like, you know where I think he fits? Pittsburgh. But I'm not sure Pittsburgh's going to spend that kind of money. I just don't believe that. Hurts needs to make up his mind. Are you going to come in and ball out, run, keep the defense off balance, be a weapon? Hey, let me say this, dual threat. If Jalen Hurts doesn't run this year, his market value is cut in half. He's not a 25. He's a $25 million guy. If he's a dual threat player, he's up there 50 because of what he's done. I'll tell you one thing he does better than Lamar Jackson. He fits into an offensive approach better than Lamar does. You know why? Jalen knows his weaknesses. Lamar doesn't. Lamar's in-game situational play, in my opinion, is suspect. Not running when he needs to. Overthrows. Panics. I think he panics a bit, especially in the playoffs. I think Lamar panics. And maybe it's the bad word, panic, but I think he presses. You could use panic or press. I think he presses. He's very competitive. I also happen to think that at times he doesn't like to put shitty tape up. Like if he's not 100%, I'm not sure he's willing to go out and play. I think he always wants to be at 100% max to play. And I don't think he can do that. I think you've got to play injured. I mean, Josh Allen played his last 4 games with a broken foot. He was in a boot every day. Had a broken foot. Justin Herbert had a broken hand. These guys were playing banged up. I don't think he does that. I don't think he goes the extra mile like that. Angelo will join us at the bottom. If Kyle had elite quarterback, would he be 2-0 in the Super Bowl? If Kyle, when Kyle was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, I never thought Matt Ryan was the MVP that year. Has he ever had an elite quarterback in the Super Bowls? He had Jimmy Garoppolo and he had Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is excellent in the pocket. I just think he's a fragile dude. Why not put up 3,800 with nobody other than a tight end? Hey, be nice if he had a check down game, John. It'd be great if he had a screen game. John, if he had a screen game where he checked down, he'd throw for 4,400 yards every year. Do you understand that the reason why I say Hurts will never throw for $4,000? The offensive passing game's not set up to. You don't have a complex offense. There's no checkdowns in it. $20 million for 3.5 sacks? Really? Can't be serious. Well, he's expected to sign a 3-year, $60.4 million deal with how much guaranteed? Let's see here. 60.4 over 3 years is projected market value. And I would assume that number is going to be about 29, maybe 48. Probably 48 million guaranteed out of that 60. 48, I'd say 48. So if they keep AJ and Goddard, and that's a big if, the only player I'm going for on offense is Isaac Seumalo. Hey, you know what? I got a guy, too, for you. That Kyle Pitts kid. Spread offense. He can't block with shit. 1,000 yards his rookie year. They went through transition with Michael Penix, and they never figured out what they were going to do with Kirk Cousins. This last year, he had 960 yards on 88 catches. And you could put him in the slot. I mean, Kyle Pitts, a tight end, move him in the slot. You got to play him off ball because he's not going to be on strong side because he can't take on big-time ends. And AJ and Devontae, if AJ's still on the team. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a better pass catcher than Goddard. And he's younger. He's 25. And I think he had a hell of a year ago. And he's going to cost you money. Let's see. What's his projected price tag? Kyle Pitts. Projected $16 million. Just north of 16. A little high. Kyle Pitts is from Philly. I know. Xander said that yesterday to me. Devin Lloyd has primarily played linebacker in the NFL, so the sacks aren't there. If you remember something, too, not Hurts season, go back and take a look at Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick in his first 3 years wasn't a sack guy. They moved him out, and they put him down and put his hand in the ground, and he became a sack guy. I think it was 4 years in a row he went double digits with 3 different teams. So, again, look at something like that. I think Devin Lloyd, I've loved him since he came out of Utah. I wanted the Eagles to draft the kid. I think Jalen's better at managing the game than Lamar. I do. Okay? I do. I think he's better. That'd be interesting. But why would Pitts go to a team that he beat? I'd like to see him in Tampa. Kyle Pitts, because Zach Robinson is now the offensive coordinator there, and he was in Atlanta. Pitts, Evans, Godwin, and Emeka Buka. And then you have Bucky Irvin. I think that'd make a good offense for the Buccaneers and for Baker Mayfield. It'd make them one of the better offensive units in the NFC if they were able to do something like that. I just suspect on him. Like if you put him on a strong side, Kyle Pitts, he's not a very physical guy. Dan Mullen said that when he came out of Florida, that he wasn't that dude. If I'm the Eagles, I had a proven outside cornerback, sign Chubb, then focus on the offense. See, if you go Chubb, you go to $12 million there. You drop that number down $8 million on Jalen Phillips, and it's the same player. Sign him for a 2-year deal. Sign Chubb to a 2-year contract. And if you want to go in the draft and draft another edge, go ahead. Or in the first round, you go O-line. Here, this is what Chubb does. O-line, okay? Tight end in the second. Chubb, you signed for a 2-year deal at $12 million, 10 less than what you're going to pay for Jalen Phillips. Make sense? That's kind of Howie ball in it. And he played for Vic in 2 places. And Vic's familiar with the kid. Denver and also in Miami. Had 8.5 sacks this last year. He's a good football player. He's just in a shitty environment. Plus, you put Chubb next to Jaylen Carter, it might make Jaylen Carter a better ball player. Here's the thing that I would think about, too. Before I sign Jaylen Carter, I better make sure I have somebody quality next to him. Because when you didn't have somebody that was quality next to him at the beginning of the season, it affected him. It may have even gotten him hurt because the amount of reps he had to play. When you got Phillips, the whole defense got better, including Carter. So you better make sure you got a dude next to him that's going to take some of the pain away from the guy, like in double teams. You give a guy $34 million, $30 million, and you put a stiff next to him, and the kid takes on the double teams, you're back to 1,000 reps. How does that make sense? Last time I checked, no team goes undefeated. Not sure what you're talking about. What team did Barkley go to? The Eagles. Same logic there. Jason, well, the Giants didn't pay him, but we did. Listen, I disagree with that John McMullen take about getting rid of Barkley. Hey, dude, your objective is after. So listen, you get rid of Barkley. And why do you think maybe Daniel Jones struggled in New York? Because you had no run game? Do you think that expedited the exit for Daniel Jones when he didn't have a run game? So you took a quality running back away from a quarterback you just gave $150 million to, right? How's that make sense? Hey, I just paid my quarterback. You know what his logic was? On Philly. Well, I'm paying the quarterback almost $50 million. I'm not going to pay a running back 20. Why? The Eagles do. The Eagles do. They pay a quarterback 50 and pay a running back 20. They do. And they pay one wide receiver 30 and the other guy 25. They do. The Giants don't. Well, that's why you're the Giants. The Eagles don't think like that. I heard Joe Schoen say that. I'm not paying the running back $20 million. Okay? The Eagles do. Eagles gave him $14 million. Oh, we're not. Well, okay. You lost your quarterback and you're back. And now you're back to Jackson Dart and you got a new coach. And the same guy making decisions. Hey, good move, I guess. If we lose AJ, Pitts is worth it, especially in a new offense. And here's the deal. You're talking about threatening the seam because you can line him in the slot or you can play him off the line of scrimmage. The problem with the Eagle offense now is you don't threaten the middle of the field. You have no threat in the middle of the field. You threaten the seams, outside and slants. You know the most devastating play in your offense is? It's the slant with AJ. And now that's not becoming proficient enough. because you're not seeing it enough. Seals, what type of contingencies are built into contracts to shield organizations against injuries? Who do they need to retire or contract relief, landing cam, or real issues? Catastrophic knee injuries. Like if a guy blows his knee out, there's an insurance policy for the owner, a Lloyd's of London policy. Like if he can never play again and it's a catastrophic injury, there's an insurance policy every player has in his contract. And the owner, the teams get relief. They don't get cap relief on that, though. They get salary relief. So you got to eat that. Now, with the new collective bargaining agreement, you could defer the money, I think 3 years. And I think you can file for catastrophic injuries to see if you can get relief. And I think you have to, I think that goes to an arbitrator. I think I'll have to look on that, but Cam Jurgens is in trouble, in my opinion. He's absolutely in trouble. So do you think Harbaugh might have negotiated a roster control to coach the Giants? Not sure why he would sign that GM. I'm not sure either on why he would sign with that GM. All right, guys, I got to tell you something here. By the way, a little bit later on, I'd never seen anything in Philadelphia in my entire life when I heard a superstar baseball player. We're going to talk to Angelo Cataldi later about it. Bryce Harper's like, well, what are you questioning me for? Well, dude, you're not productive. I mean, you signed a $35 million a year contract, and you signed a $10+ year contract with the Phillies. And when people start questioning you hitting 238 and you're going 0 for 28, you might want to sit back and go, hey, look, criticism. I mean, kid, where are we going here? The back end of this contract might not be as friendly as Dave Dombrowski thought it was going to be. We're going to start calling him Dave Dombrowski, not Dombrowski. That thing's not looking good. So I'm going to get to Angelo on that and the greatness of Daryl Morey. We'll have to hit on that too a little bit later, but I got to tell you something. So Angelo, I'm very sure likes fraternities. And now we have a new one. Let me see here. We got a 33-year-old Sean Mannion. And now we got, what is his name? Parks Frazier, who's 34 years old. These guys are bringing the kegs and the kegs and the cups. And then you got Chris Cooper, who got blown out in Minnesota. I mean, this is something else going on. I can't, and you tell Jeff Stoutland, hey, guess what? Take this job or leave. And so Stoutland goes, screw you, I'm out. All right. I can't wait to hear this one here. Without further ado, we bring in the man who dubbed Bobo Patullo, who just got a job, by the way, in Miami because Nick took care of him. All that being said, he is my friend Angelo Cataldi, and we appreciate him being here with us now. How you doing, Angie?
I'm great. First of all, I resent you saying that I have anything against fraternities. This is a fun fact, Dan. I never went to a fraternity when I went to the University of Rhode Island or Columbia, but I did live in a sorority house for 4 years. Sigma Delta Tau, the Jewish sorority at the University of Rhode Island. I was the house father for 4 years there. Free rent for 4 years. I protected the girls.
Okay, so wait, how'd you work this?
Honestly, it was my first wife who had connections, and she got us to live there. We had a little apartment right in the sorority, but I did get to see lots of fraternities crash in and stuff. And, one time, one of the fraternities broke in the middle of the night. Guys were peeing on the walls and just raising hell. And I stood there and said, somebody ought to call the campus cops. We don't want this to keep going on.
Wait. You were Big Dom before Big Dom?
Yeah, I was Big Dom who did nothing. Do you understand? I was of no use whatsoever. I was the worst house father ever.
Kind of like the head coach in Philly, but I'm going to get to that right now here. So let me add this here. So here's the first question to you. Has Nick Sirianni made it undesirable for assistant coaches to want to coach in Philadelphia?
What's going on here? This Chris Cooper thing's a big story. I tackled it on my blog this week. He is totally unaccomplished as a offensive line coach, and he is replacing a legend, one of the greatest offensive line coaches, in my estimation, the greatest position coach in Eagles history, and Jeff Stoutland. And he left because he couldn't work with Sirianni anymore. And so they went to Sean Mannion, who, by the way, also is not yet called a play. And they went, Sean, who do you want to bring in? I got an idea. Let's try something different. Let me bring in a friend. Because bringing in friends, we have already learned, is the right way to hire people. Just the Patullo thing. You can go back to Jeff Lurie and Joe Banner and the nightmare that turned into. Hiring friends. I told the story in this blog, Dan. When 2 years into my radio career, Tom Brookshire said, I'm getting out. I had enough of you. You're on your own now. And I had no radio experience except the 2 years with Brookie. I didn't know what I was doing. And they went, well, what do you want to do? And I didn't have a say. Tom Bigby, the program director, said, we're going to do a dog and pony show. We're going to bring in the top candidates, and you're going to do a day or two on the air with them cold. Just try it, right? And they did.
You were good with that? You were good with that?
I didn't have any leverage then. Okay. I thought they were going to fire me too. What was it? I was basically riding on Tom Brookshire's coat strings the whole time anyway. I just trying to survive. And so they brought in a guy the first day. They brought in a legend, a radio legend. I mean, this guy would be like the top candidate for an opening in football right now. His name was Joey Reynolds.
Wow.
Hey, Joey, you see your
dude,
reaction?
that guy was in New York.
Yes. He was between jobs. He was looking for something. And so Joey Reynolds shows up.
Joey Reynolds, WABC, Joey Reynolds?
Joey Reynolds. WABC.
I grew up with that guy.
Joey Reynolds is a legend. You want a guy who's done great radio. Joey Reynolds. One tiny problem. Joey shows up. It's about 10 of 6. We're starting at 6. Joe goes, listen, one thing. I don't like sports. I said, well, that could be an issue since it's a sports station. Don't worry. I'll take care of it, kid. You start the show and I'll find my spots, right? I swear to God. Dan, he shows up with like 4 or 5. He was a worker. That guy was a star.
Oh, yeah.
He had 4 or 5 pages filled with jokes about George Bush. Now, this was not. This was.
Oh, it's the old
George
man.
Bush ago.
It's the
original George Bush.
The old man.
He was president.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing Rich Coates, and I'm doing all this stupid stuff. And then he goes, George Bush, and he tell a joke about politics. It was nightmare. Well, Bigby, to his credit, I didn't like the guy. He was my boss, but he said, you don't just bring in somebody you're comfortable with. You got to see if you got something there. And it was a train wreck. He didn't care. He thought it was fun. People would find it amusing. Transition between Berkshire and whoever we ended up. And we ended up with Tony Bruno, a great radio guy with lots of experience, phenomenal. And Al Morganti, who I had worked with previously, but people said, oh, you hired your best friend. No, we were not that friendly. We've never been that friendly. We were friendly on the air. We had a good dynamic, but he was not really a close friend. Hiring a friend is almost always a stupid reason to bring
like hiring
somebody
family.
in.
It's like hiring family.
You know why you're doing it, Dan? You're doing it to make it more comfortable for yourself. That's why Kevin Petullo was here last year and destroyed a season. That's why 2-3 years ago, Brian Johnson was here and he and Sean Desai blue seasons because Sirianni wanted guys he felt comfortable with who were part of his program. And we're seeing it all over again. They never learned anything. Wouldn't you think after all those disasters, you'd go, no, we're going to find the best person. We're not going to worry about whether or not we worked with them before. No. So this Cooper, this is, if this ever worked out, it would be one of the miracles of Philadelphia sports because you replaced a great coach with a guy with no track record for success. They gave up 60 sacks this year in Minnesota. He was let go. And then everybody assumed, well, he's going to have to go back down to the pecking order, work his way back up. No, he doesn't. Sean Mannion's his friend. Guess what? Welcome to Philadelphia. Wow.
Don't you think that this now, do you think the organization has allowed Nick to make these decisions? Because this doesn't look like Howie and Jeffrey does it. Doesn't this look more like, to me, you know what, Angelo, if I want to get off of somebody and I want to move away from somebody, you know what I do? I let you run the show.
Right.
I let you go. Who do you want? Who do you go? And as you're doing that, Angelo, you're doing this. Who do you want? Who do you want?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're digging the hole.
Like that?
And I think that decision was entirely Sean Mannion's. And the reason you go, well, why would Sirianni do that? Let's go back to the last play call of the past season. I keep going back to that moment. It was the most telling moment of 5 years of Nick Sirianni. It's 4th down. They're 20 yards from winning the game. They need a big play call. And Hurts goes to the sideline, and there's Sirianni, and there's Patullo. And Sirianni ain't saying a damn thing. Patullo's calling the play. Patullo's doing 9/10 of the talking. And Sirianni is just nodding. That's all. Sirianni apparently is giving these people ropes to hang themselves. As far as I know, Sirianni doesn't have any connection to Chris Cooper. Mannion does.
Yeah.
So Mannion brought in this guy. And it's like, and you're right that they just went young. Now they're young everywhere. Except for Fangio. Well, let me tell you something right now. Fangio's going to have a party this year with that frat.
Oh, but Angelo, why so experienced on defense?
Yeah.
And why so inexperienced on offense where you have all the money, where you have a Super Bowl MVP, where you're trying to mend fences with AJ? Why are you going so off the reservation? Help me. I'm not understanding what they're doing.
Then the defense part is easy. That's Fangio. He's going to bring in veterans that he knows can do the job because they've done the job. They've succeeded somewhere else the way Vic has. On offense, I'm getting the appeal. The more I've seen of this, Sirianni doesn't have any ideas. Sirianni was it doesn't sound like he's out of friends that he can bring in. So now they brought in Mannion and said, now you stop bringing your friends in. That's what I see, Dan. These are not connected to Nick. They're connected to Mannion.
How much damage do you think they're doing to Jalen Hurts' growth as a quarterback?
Well, I think we've probably reached, if we ever reach the end of the line on this, this is the year. If they keep doing this to him every single year, and there's a very good chance Mannion will be one and done also because he's never done the job. No one knows if he's going to be able to do it. Expectations are still sky high. They still have a roster that matches any in the NFL. If they underperform again the way they just did, you've got to assume you're going to bring another guy in next year. At what point does Hurts say, this isn't working for me? Guys, I need stability. There's no stability here. Nick does not actually have any say over the offense. When he does, it goes bad. So they're not bringing him people that can take advantage of what he does. So I would hope for his sake, because I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts. But if it happens again this year, he should tell them all to go to hell and demand a trade.
What about A.J. Brown's future? You think he's on the football team in September?
No, I don't. I doubt it. I think he did the one thing you can't do in this yes world that the Eagles live in, and he said no. He pushed back. The Eagles just don't like that. They don't accept it. He pushed back. Sirianni's still here, Dan, because he doesn't push back. Doug Peterson is not here because he did push back. If you give them if you say, no, I don't think you're right there, I think we should try, you're out. That's it. They don't want to hear that because they really believe in some odd way those 2 championships affirm that they are geniuses in football.
I don't get this whole thing here, man. And let me
believe.
ask you about, I just don't. I mean, you're 50-18 in 4 years. I'm going to run this pony into the ground until the pony breaks. I'm not going to just go, well, let's change it here overnight here. So give me the owner in his impulsiveness. Do you think it's impulsive? What do you think what does he think right now? And is he okay? He has to be okay with these moves. Is this just Jeffrey Lurie and it's bleeding down?
Yeah, it is Jeffrey Lurie because this philosophy starts there. He does not want people in his organization that tell him no, that tell him he's wrong, that push back. We see that. So Howie Roseman has found a way to navigate. Howie Roseman somehow, you want to see a success story. Howie Roseman's got a guy above him who doesn't want to hear the word no, and people below him that are only there because the owner doesn't want to bring in a veteran head coach like a Bill Belichick, somebody like that, who's going to tell him, just stay there, let me do my job, right? He doesn't want to do that. And Howie's still put together an amazing roster. But Howie's got to be looking at that himself now and going, well, this is it for Sirianni. What are they going to do? Bring another young guy in? They're going to just keep doing it this way because the alternative is to bring in somebody who's had success and he's going to tell them what he wants to do instead of doing what they tell him. See, that's the problem you got. When you have this, you got to have a yes man or it's not worth it. Just go back to the Dog and Pony show before they hired Sirianni. And they had 10 or 12 different candidates. They had marathon interviews and they picked Sirianni. And then
over Josh McDaniels and other dudes. I remember that. Yeah, that whole hiring.
Yeah, they had some names in there, people that knew what they were doing, had a track record.
Yep.
And Sirianni won the job. And then he held his first news conference. And people all went nuts. I went, the man can't put a sentence together. He can't communicate a cohesive thought. You remember that, right?
Still, yes.
That's the guy who dazzled Lurie in the interviews for like 10 hours or however long they were doing it. No way. They just wanted a guy that would tell them what they wanted to hear. And that's the problem. Yes, they have a great team. This is as good a team as the Eagles have ever had in their history. But the people running it are not getting the most out of it. They're not. This team should be dominant right now. It should be creating its own dynasty. And instead, they're rolling the dice every year with people who never did these jobs.
When does it get to a point where Howie Roseman says,
that's it?
Oh, I got to tell you, I've always coveted the Jets job. And the Jets haven't done anything in 15 years. And I want to be a Theo Epstein. And I want to be a problem solver in a place like New York, where I wanted that job years and years and years ago. Maybe what I do is I put myself out there. It looks like the kid's starting to get a prominent role in the organization now, Julian. It looks like they're starting to make that transition.
Yeah.
The end of the Eagles will be when Howie leaves, correct? When he wants to leave. Or do you think he retires?
No, Howie will make that decision. They realize Jeff Lurie's not dumb. Howie Roseman's a great GM. Everyone thinks that. Not just in football. They think it in all sports. He's a great GM. He knows how to get people in. He will get more talent onto this team in this offseason. I guarantee it. I'd like to believe the possibility that Julian Lurie, the son, who's basically an analytics guy, is going to be, he's going to be telling Howie what to do someday in the not very distant future. Jeff's in his mid-70s. I got to assume Howie would rather not do that, and that he would rather trade on his reputation to get more power in a different organization. I think we're on the cusp right here of major changes for the Eagles. I think what we just witnessed in this past year when they had the best team and didn't go nearly as far as they should have. I think we saw that we have seen now with this year as far as they're going to go. So Brown's going to go. They're going to have to get rid of him right now. He's not going to play another game for the Eagles.
Is Hurts next then?
Gone. A.J. Brown's gone. All right.
Is Hurts next?
Who?
Hurts? Is he next?
Yeah, I think maybe because he wants to be next, because he's seen enough of it. We're just seeing now that the philosophy that they have used, it got them 2 championships. You can't argue it.
No, right.
But it in getting them to 2 championships, it built up more confidence in themselves than they deserve. They're not that good at this. And they think they're great at it. And the only one who is Howie.
Do you agree? And I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks, Angelo, that it just seems that with all the roadblocks that they put in front of themselves and with the coaching, with the inability at keeping coordinators, they must have left 2 Super Bowls on the table.
Yeah,
here
they
with
left
this organization. Don't you agree that
this one?
Like, what's the difference in your opinion between Robert Kraft and Jeffrey Lurie? Robert Kraft has been to 11 of these things with 3 different organizations. I mean, you had Parcells, as I told you before, Parcells and Bledsoe, Brady and Belichick, and now you're back with Drake May and now with Vrabel. What's the difference between the way Kraft runs a team and the way Jeffrey Lurie runs a team?
It's not hard to figure out at all. He had Belichick. Belichick won 6 championships with him. Belichick has run his course. He's done. He let an assistant try it for a year or 2, a couple of years, see what happens there. Didn't work. Soon as he saw he needed to go in another direction, said, who can I hire who I know has done the job and done it very well? Mike Vrabel. And Mike Vrabel went right in there and went from 4-13 to 14-3 in 1 year. It's mind-boggling because Robert Kraft is not afraid of working with a strong personality who push back. And Lurie won't do that. Lurie's never done that. Lurie's never brought in a guy that had a big track record. You start all the way back at Ray Rhodes, all the way up. He's never brought in a guy who had a track record. And he thinks that he is brilliant at finding the next big mind, the great genius. But if he thinks Sirianni is, then he's nuts. Because there's one thing I can tell you. Sirianni, no.
I'll tell you what you just said about Kraft. And you tell me if you agree or disagree. I think that was designed, that hire Jared Mayo. You know what he didn't want Vrabel to do? Because I think he's been serenading him since he was in Tennessee and he went to the booth that one time and they were inducting him into the Hall of Fame. I don't think he wanted to replace the guy. I think he wanted to replace the guy who replaced the guy to make that transition a little bit easier because to me, I think the difference is he empowers football people. I think Jeffrey Lurie gets in the way of empowerment in Philadelphia. Is that fair?
100%. And I'll even give you Nostradamus has a new prediction. Right? Now that I was good with my predictions this year, I'm going to keep it rolling. A.J. Brown will leave the Eagles to go to the New England Patriots. Because he and Vrabel worked together.
Yep. And Vrabel did not want him gone.
Vrabel went nuts.
That's right.
When Tennessee got rid of Brown,
that's right.
He said, over my dead body, we'll trade him. And like 3 days later, the GM traded.
And he was fired a week later.
Yes. And he loves A.J. Brown. And how good would A.J. Brown look with Drake May in New England? Telling you right now, of course, he'll probably also stir up a lot of trouble and cause all sorts. But I have a feeling the first guy that's going to call Howie to get A.J. Brown is going to be Mike Vrabel and that group up in New England.
Elliot Wolf is the head of personnel and also Alonzo Highsmith. Do you think Sirianni makes the 2026 season? Or do you think this is the final year, Nostradamus? Do you think that
I really hope it's over. It's got to – look, you just replaced Stoutland with Cooper, right? You got another guy who never called plays, right? the odds that you're going to be better, even your defensive coordinator is, maybe he wants to be there, maybe he doesn't. He's kind of had enough of these frat boys. No, I think they're going to have a losing season. I think it's going to be the end of the line for Sirianni. That's my guess.
Hey, wait, I got Angelo. I'm with you on this one. I say they win 7 ball games.
Yeah, they're going to. No, when the over-under comes out, I don't do this very often. I don't like betting against my own team, but I will definitely take the under. They'll probably have an over-under at 10 or maybe 9, something like that.
Yep.
They're going to have less wins than that. They got a tough schedule, and they got a lot of morons now coaching. A lot of morons. They're everywhere. Oh, man, other than Fangio. Fangio must be tearing his hair out. Does he have any left?
And by the way, so let me get this right. You get rid of Stoutland. He walks out the door. A.J. Brown hates the place. You got a D coordinator who wants to retire, and you're begging him to stay.
Right.
I don't know, dude. I think Philly misses you, Angelo, because you got too many guys over there like carrying the torch and carrying the water for that team, and I don't see it here. All right. I want to pivot and bounce what I want to do is I want to drop a bun here on you. So, I got a lot of friends in Clearwater who now where the Phillies are, and he told me that Bryce Harper was stunned.
Oh.
He was stunned that he was being questioned by his play. And I saw Rhea and that clip she had, and Rhea's like, okay, well, dude, you're not playing well. And he was kind of surprised. What's your whole takeaway on him and him being surprised on his production?
I'm stunned by him being stunned.
Yes.
Right? This was the guy who had the heart of a lion. This was the tough guy. And he had never come across as soft as he's coming across right now. His boss went public and said he didn't have an elite season. 272, 27 homers, 82 RBIs. It's not elite. It's okay. It's not worth $330 million. His 13-year contract. He told the truth. And all we've heard since then for 3 months is this pity party by Bryce Harper on how, it's wild. He goes this. He goes, I thought we kept everything in-house here. Well, let me explain to Bryce. He may not be, I got a little more history than him. Bryce, the only reason you guys kept all this in-house, including Castellanos bringing a beer into the dugout 30 game, the only way you kept all that secret is that no one is covering your team anymore. Do you understand? Nobody is reporting on your team. The days of Peter Pasquarelli and even Bill Conlon and Jason Stark, the people that, let me say that, if you in the 90s, if a player on a team, especially one making $20 million a year, was so rebellious that he brought a beer into the locker room, that story would be in the next day's paper. You know why? Because it wasn't just Castellanos who knew he did it, or Thompson who knew he did it. All the guys in the dugout knew he did it, and all those guys that tell
24 guys knew
he did it. And by the end of the day, 100 people know what happened. One of those 100 people, because there are actually reporters covering the team, are going to tell the guy who's covering the team, you're not going to believe this. Castellanos, he got so angry, he brought a beer onto the dugout, right on the bench, and never got reported. Everything's been in-house because no one's done the job of reporting. No one's done any friggin' journalism on that team. I was a beat guy. If that story came out 3 months later, that I didn't get it all,
embarrassing.
I quit the beat, Dan. I quit. No one, I have no sources who can tell me a big story like that. It has to come out after they get rid of the guy. It's a joke. It's pathetic. But the fact that Harper's so hurt by this, that this thing was, he aired my dirty laundry. No, he didn't. He didn't say you were drinking too much. He didn't say you were out carousing. He said you had an okay season. Oh my God. Oh, call the lawyers. Somebody take him to court. What did he say?
Dude,
what a pussy. I'll say it. Ryan Harper is a pussy. All right?
Yeah.
And I would
Hey.
say this on the air, Dan, if I was still doing a show. And
Let
they
me-
probably wouldn't let me. I'm not sure
Wait.
they would. You have looser
Wait.
standards.
Angelo, the reason why I was stunned when you hear a guy hitting 275 and 27 home runs and whatever RBIs, and you're talking
Right.
about a guy like Manny Machado. Machado is a Gold Glove third baseman. This dude, I'm not sure, owns the glove, and so you kind of look at Manny and you go, dude, he's one of the greatest third basemen. Even Brooks Robinson said it back in the day when he played in Baltimore. So you kind of go, well, 275 with a Golden Glove, a third baseman, you get away with that. He does it because he doesn't even own a glove. What does that tell you about Dombrowski and the relationship with the media? You just mentioned it. Nobody's covering the team. Are they doing the same thing the Eagles are doing now too? Controlling the narrative, and that's why nobody covers it?
No. See, Dombrowski is not anywhere near as paranoid as the Eagles are. Dombrowski, if you sat down with Dombrowski and you had a pad, he would pretty much tell you what he was thinking. He'd hold a little back, but he wouldn't. He's not. When people are that protective, when people are that secretive, it exposes their own insecurity, Dan. They're afraid to stand behind what they feel. You shouldn't be afraid of your players. Now there's a narrative here by these pussies that are covering the team that, this might have been a tactic by Dombrowski to motivate Harper. Oh, wow. $330 million wasn't enough motivation. I got to also tell him he's not elite anymore, so he plays better. Come on. I mean, come on. If you're a professional, you expect to be criticized when you're not playing up to what you should be doing.
That's
and B, shut your mouth and play better. That's all. You do that, it's over. It's brutal.
What do you make of Daryl Morey and the Sixers and what they're doing now? I mean, no moves really on the trading deadline. I thought maybe there was a conversation that they were throwing around with Giannis. I was actually kind of surprised that Giannis didn't get moved to Golden State. Okay, that never happened too. And with the East being so wide open this year, I mean, look at where the Celtics, they've been injured. Maybe the Knicks are the team to beat in the East, but Philadelphia didn't do anything. Paul George, once again, what looks like a disastrous sign. Daryl Morey, here he is. I mean, he did nothing in Houston. He did nothing in Philadelphia. I don't get this guy. And I was told that was an elite roster.
Well, I think that you're misconstruing what's going on. I think Morey decided when he made a move that got him a first-round draft pick. He traded with the Thunder. Who did he give up? He gave up somebody pretty good. First-round pick from last year, right? But he got a first-round pick. Okay. And he went, this is more for the future than the present. And I went, oh, wow. We're going to have another process. Oh, we're back to the process again. How great is that? Because you see, when 4 years, the Sixers went out of their way losing so they could get Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Elton Brand time. That was Elton Brand time, right? That was Elton Brand time.
There was a lot of, when they were getting all those guys, they were like, all right, well, now we're going to have an amazing team and win championship. They haven't even gotten to a conference final, and their GM traded away a commodity for a pick in the future. A pick with the Thunder, by the way, which is low first round. And then he says, this is more for the future. You go, you're not supposed to be in the future. We did 4 years of sacrifice, so you're not in the friggin' future. What the hell's wrong with you?
Man. I mean, you are so missed. Wait, hey, by the way, how would you have approached that, Nick Castellanos? And how would you approach that on the air? What would you have said about him bringing that in there?
I would have started by castigating the people who cover the team. They should all be embarrassed themselves. They should move the pom-poms away from their laptop and start covering the freaking team. All right? That's your job. When you have a major player on your team rebelling against the manager and it causes the rift that it did and nothing comes out until the season is over, you should be the beat should be taken away from you. You have not done your job, Dan. That's basic. You have to cover the team. You can't wait for the next news conference. You have to get news. You have to dig. You have to talk to people. You have to cultivate sources. You have to do what it takes to cover a team. And no one's doing that anymore. And that was then I would, of course, get to Castellanos, who's just a horse's ass. I mean, honestly, what a guy he is. He grumped around for 4 years in Philadelphia, making $20 million a year, constantly swinging at outside sliders, never fixed it. Yeah, you knew how he'd strike out. Oh, he's going to throw him a slider. It's going to break down and away from him. He's going to flail, and he's going to strike out again. And he just meander back to the dugout and look for the next Presidente beer.
What's Rob Thompson's role in that?
Rob Thompson is an enabler. We know that. Rob Thompson has never stood up to anyone. The only time he ever came close to it was when he benched Castellanos when he did that stuff. And then they never explained why Castellanos got benched. It was only for a game or two. But right back. Rob Thompson is the happy granddad who just, boys, come in here, fellas. Let's go. Let's go get them today, boys. Let's do it. Don't ask me for strategy. I got my own printouts here. I'll use analytics. I'll make that decide. That'll work great in the playoffs. It does every year.
All right. I got one last one here for you. All right. Sirianni, I got one last thing here for you.
Yeah.
Has he been the worst coach that you have covered
No.
in Philadelphia Eagles history? And that includes Rich Kotite.
No, he won't, because Kotite was just how can I say that when the guy won a championship, made it to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years, and has a record that stands next to Vince Lombardi?
Yeah, that's like saying he's better of a coach than Vermeil.
No,
I don't believe that.
The unmasking is in progress right now.
Okay.
All right. But
Unmasking.
when it's over, he still will not be the worst. Whether or not he's the dumbest, that's a separate conversation. All right. But he's definitely not going to be the worst. But I think this probably would be the last year.
Last year, Angelo, you never cease to amaze me, because you have been, you know what? I was wrong too in 24. But outside of that, man, you've been on top of your game. You said Petulo would be a joke. You said the whole season would implode by the end, and it did. We're going into this now, and I got to tell you, I think Nostradamus, I think this thing right here, man, I'm going to start rubbing my nose too here, that Paisan nose of mine, and I'm going to go like this. I think you got it right. I think they're going to win 7 ball games this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, but even when that happens, the one thing about the Eagles, they're always giving you a lot to talk about.
Oh, yes.
It's always kind of fun.
It is.
Good or bad, it's kind of fun.
It always is. Make sure you guys check out AngeloCataldi.com. By the way, the picture here too, and here's the lead, or here's the headline: friendships are killing the Eagles. Yeah. Make sure you guys check out the line here and check out the blog here. He's got it going on, and we love reading it each and every single day. Last year, a parade. This year, chaos. I'll leave you with that. Make sure you check it out. Angelo, thank you so much, my good friend.
Take care, buddy.
You got it. Angelo Cataldi. The unmasking of Nick Sirianni. The unmasking. That goes right over there. Always delivers. Oh, by the way, I got another one here for you. It's time to do this. Let's go, Jake Elliott. You're fucking out. The guy sucked in 25. The guy sucked in 24. This guy was the 3rd worst in 24. This past season, he's the worst kicker. Not that you're going to save a shitload of money when it comes to cap, but the guy stinks. It's time to move on from that guy, too. Bring some competition in. Your kicker stinks. Jake Elliott, let's go. You're going to make all these moves on the offensive side? Get rid of that guy. He's not good. Okay? He's just not. It's time to move on. You're paying that guy a crap load of money, too, for the lack of production. So it's time. I mean, somebody asked me this yesterday about this guy, and they're like, hey, Sills, what do you do with Elliott? What do you do with Elliott? You bring competition in. You bring a dude in that's going to create a little bit more competition for the guy. Hopefully, you can move off him. Look at what they did. What was the team that signed? You guys had Dicker the kicker, and then you ended up staying with Justin Tucker. I don't know. I agree. He's a liability, and yes, he's a liability, dude. I mean, Justin Tucker. I think Justin Tucker was running out of steam in Baltimore. I don't think they cut loose of Justin Tucker because of all that BS that went on with him. I think they cut loose of Justin Tucker because he started falling apart. Okay? Dude makes $6 million. And the guy was like terrible this last year. And in 24, he was terrible. Bold prediction, number one. Eagles will be 5-12 or 6-11. Okay, listen. I think you're between 7 and 9 wins. That's where I'm hanging. I think you're between 7 and 9, okay? Hey, Phil, and I do watch baseball. Maybe not like you and your Phillies, but I watch all baseball. Okay, I do. I watch all baseball. Me, this year, I would say this. I think the Mets will see what Bichette. It's a one-year deal. I'm not a fan of that. The Yankees didn't do anything. And even Aaron Judge is bitching about it. They're all reporting to Tampa. I think they play on Friday. Exhibition ball starts. Phillies will go to Dunedin and take on the Blue Jays. And if I'm not mistaken, I think also on Saturday, the Rays are hosting in Port Charlotte. I think the Braves. The Yankees have the worst defensive baseball team in the last 25 years. And it's the worst defensive baseball team that the Yankees have had since the boss passed away. What about their defense? The Yankees are terrible on defense. Sills, watch the Dodgers three-peat. Yeah. Well, they got the best GM in baseball, and Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman went from the Rays to the Dodgers, and he's built the farm system back up. And, of course, they have an open checkbook. They can do whatever they want. But Friedman still puts the team together, and Dave Roberts, in my opinion, who should have been the Padres manager years ago, they never offered him the gig. Guy's a Hall of Famer. He's got 3 titles already. He's going for number 4. This guy's going to have 4 potential World Series titles. 4. Bruce Bochy. I mean, this guy's going to have a better record than Bruce Bochy. So I see us 14-13 or 6-11. Now, Tyler, that's not a terrible take. That's not a terrible take there. No in between. You know what? I don't hate that. Tyler, I don't hate that. By the way, Big Z's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. I don't hate that take. Okay, you're either going to be a Super Bowl champion or you're going to be a football team that's going to be potentially in the top 10 when it comes to picking in the draft. I actually like that. Dude, Shohei Ohtani is must-see television. I've never seen a guy throw a baseball 103, steal 50 bases, hit 50 bombs, and he's must-see television. He is. He's must-see TV. Like, it's like watching Bonds. Bonds is the best baseball player in my lifetime that I covered. Bonds and Ricky Henderson. When I was in San Francisco, we had Ricky Henderson and Barry Bonds. And my wife and I used to go to Giant games. I tell people this all the time. Every time my wife and I went to a Giants game, Bonds hit a homer. He was just incredible. He got like 3 pitches every game, and he hit them all. Incredible. A huge Barry Bonds fan. Yeah, they're going to lock out in December. Probably finish the season, get the World Series, and there'll be a lockout starting next year. Gwynn was great. I know Tony Gwynn, by the way, his wife and his kids, they follow my kid in her rugby exploits. His wife is a tremendous friend of mine. And I've done a lot of things with her when I was on 1090. And we used to do a lot of events with Tony Gwynn's wife. Great family. Great family. I love Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was more proud of the fact that when he left SDSU, that he was the all-time assist guy in basketball because he played basketball at SDSU for the Aztecs before Steve Fisher got there. And I know Steve Fisher very well, too, won the national title at Michigan. And he also coached the Fab Five. And I'm friends with Steve Fisher. And Tony Gwynn was before Steve Fisher. I can't remember who the coach was. But Tony Gwynn was like the all-time leading assist guy in the history of Aztec basketball. Tony Gwynn was awesome, man. I'll tell you this, too. Rico, he'd come on my program before he passed away. And we did a big show when he died. He died, like we found out. And we did this gigantic. I did like 4 hours. And you know what people were doing? They were calling into the program. Dan, I met him at a taco place. And all we would talk about was basketball, Little League baseball. Guys would call in. Gwynn was everywhere. He never left San Diego. He never left it. And they never talked baseball. Tony Gwynn was so loved. He was like Cal Ripken in Baltimore. I think Yamamoto is a phenomenal player. I think that was obviously a special sign by the Dodgers. He was electric in the World Series. Yamamoto was awesome. I mean, the way he pitched and how Dave used him. You know, Dave Roberts doesn't get enough credit in how he used that pitching staff because remember something, the Dodgers don't have a bullpen. Okay, and Dave made it happen. You know, he would go longer with certain guys. I think they're going to be better without Kershaw because I think they're going to elevate more people. Tony Gwynn is my favorite hitter behind Richie Ashburn and Pete Rose. Let me tell you something, Steve. If Tony Gwynn played in New York with those 8 batting titles, Tony Gwynn would be looked at as like even larger than life. Just insane. I think one year he only struck out 25 times. It was just, I mean, the year he hit 398. He had 398 one year, 394, I think it was. He was just an incredible hitter. Who would 5 guys you would not draft in this first round raise red flags? I'll get to that, Kyle. I want to look at that. I want to go more in detail with that. Yeah, 8 batting titles. Think about that. I think Carew is 7. When he was in, I think Carew won 7. He may have won 1 in Anaheim with the Angels, but I know that Rod Carew is 7. I think Cobb has 8 batting titles, and I know Gwynn has 8. I think they're both tied with batting titles. Sills, Angelo's negative makes you look like the Eagles cheerleader. You know what? I'll come around on this. I think Nick has mastered. I think he's mastered the front office of Philly. And it's easy to master. He's just not going to fight for anybody. He's just not going to fight for everybody. Where do you rank Ken Griffey Jr. all time, Sills? Well, let me see. Bonds, 762. Aaron, 755. Ruth, 714. Pujols. Then it's A-Rod. Then it's Edmonds. Griffey was actually the player of the decade in the 90s, not Bonds. I think if Griffey, Phil, if Griffey didn't play in Cincinnati and at the Kingdome, he probably has more home runs like if he plays in Boston or down in Atlanta. Garrick's at 490. You're right. Garrick's at 493. That's right. Williams is at 528. Reggie's at maybe I think Mantl's at 536. Mantl's at 536. Reggie's up there too at 560 something. But Griffey's one of the greatest all-around players since Mays. But Bonds has 8 gold gloves. Now, everyone always remembers the play at the plate with Sid Bream, where he didn't throw him out when he was with the Pirates. And that will always be held against him. But I covered Bonds. I was the post-game show host, and I used to have Bonds on my program. I've never seen anything like Barry Bonds. Just insane, okay? Richie Asburn had the most hits from 50 to 59. He played with Mantle and Aaron. Yeah, and dude, don't forget, Clemente was just starting then too. Damn, Dan knows ball. Who's the guy who said he doesn't? Well, I would probably say Griffey, all around players, all around baseball players, Griffey, Bonds, Mays. I'll tell you, man, Mike Trout's a hell of a player. Mike Trout will go down as one of the greatest all-around players. Mantle, you put in that conversation. I would have to put Mickey in there. Clemente was spectacular. I mean, as a ball player all around. Oh, hey, how about this, guys? In right field in Pittsburgh, for 17 years, you had Clemente. There was a 1-year gap, and then you went another 16 years with Dave Parker. So for 34 years in Pittsburgh, right field was manned by Clemente and Parker. That's when they were great. Okay, I mean, that's when Pittsburgh had Manny Sanguillen, Stargell, Al Oliver, and all them dudes. Just insane. Schmidt's a tremendous. I'll tell you what, Schmidt as a third baseman, is there a better third baseman in baseball history? That includes Brooks. The best third baseman of all time, is it Schmidt? Probably. Brett was great, but not the power that Schmidt had. Mike Schmidt plus the gold gloves. Schmidt's the greatest third baseman that's ever lived. Machado's a hell of a player. I mean, Machado's glove, even Brooks Robinson said, one of the greatest of all time. That's what Josh Allen Mahomes did last year. You got to criticize them for being risk averse. I'm not sure what you're talking there, Paul. Now, maybe if A-Rod, if you count him at third. See, A-Rod, actually, I think A-Rod was a better shortstop than Jeter. Remember, when A-Rod got to the Yankees, he had 3 gold gloves, too, as a shortstop. You forget that with Texas and with the Mariners. And he was the athlete. He moved to third. So I thought he was a better shortstop. He's a better player than Jeter. They did. The Pirates had great pitching. The Pirates had a great team. And by the way, Kyle, you know what's funny? Do you know the guy who built the Pirates during the 60s? Branch Rickey. He's the one that brought all the Dominican players in. I mean, Branch Rickey got fired from the Dodgers when they moved west. Branch Rickey took over the Pirates. He's the guy that signed Clemente. He's the guy that signed Manny Sanguillen. He's the guy that went out and brought in all those Dominican players. Doc Ellis and all them dudes. That's correct. Actually, the story goes like this with Clemente. So Clemente's last game at 72, he was playing against the Mets, and John Matlack gave up his 3,000th hit. I think it was 3 months later, he got on a plane flight. His body was never found, and he died in a plane crash. I think it was an earthquake in Costa Rica or something, and his body was never found. Here's something else to know. I had Manny Sanguillen on my program years and years ago. Manny Sanguillen went diving and looking for Clemente's body for 6 months and never found it. Went out to sea. And they were best friends. And one of the greatest. Yeah, Nolan Arenado. I think because he played in Colorado, but I think that kind of has been dispelled a little bit because when he went to St. Louis, he's a hell of a third baseman. Truly, really a great play. Just a great third baseman. I like Machado, though. This is why when Harper's bitching, bro, who said that what's his name is a great first baseman? Really? I don't think so. Puerto Rico, thank you. Thank you, man. I was too young to remember, but I've seen online a lot that Jeter was very overrated defensively. Is that true in your opinion? No. I just think that A-Rod was better. We're talking about 2 Hall of Famers. Okay? Dude, great poll. I mean, dude, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, am I right, Damon? 3,000 hits, 450 home runs. Dude, Adrian Beltre could fucking play. He was a great baseball player. My wife and I, believe it or not, when Wade Boggs got his 3,000 hit, my wife and I were there. And he hit a homer from when he was with the Rays. Yeah, Boggs, my wife and I were sitting in the owner's box. And Wade Boggs came to the plate and he hit a home run for his 3,000th hit. Yeah, so we were there for that. So you remember that 18-inning Pirate game? I was at that game. Was that the 1-0 game that Henry Aaron hit the home run in like the bottom of the or the top of the bottom of the 18th? Kyle, was that the game? It was 0-0 for 18 innings, and Aaron hit a home run, and the Braves beat the Pirates 1-0. And was that the game that the guy was pitching a perfect game? Somebody pitched a perfect game for like 18 innings, and Aaron hit a homer in the bottom of that inning, and it was a 1-0 game. I forget who Harvey Haddix. Am I right, Damon? It was Harvey Haddix who was pitching for the Pirates, I think. And he had a perfect game going. And Aaron hit the home run in the bottom of the inning. Your favorite athletes of all time: Bo, Jay, and Roberto Duran. Ali is number 1. Ali. My favorite athletes: Ali, Dr. J, Tom Seaver, and Lawrence Taylor. Eddie Matthews was another one, Sills. Tremendous player. Yep. Yankees won half their rings before other races could play. I completely agree. Baseball, to me, Phil, started in 1960. I don't count baseball. Now, the only reason I count Ruth played against the Negro Leagues and barnstormed. And he'd play against Satchel Paige and all them guys. So the Babe would go and play against he would play against all the Negro Leagues teams and the superstar teams. And the Babe would travel actually with the black players on a barnstorm. That's why Babe, when he got back to the white beer drinking league, known as Major League Baseball, he was dominating and crushing everybody. Because he was playing against some of the best players on the planet. One year he took Lou Gehrig with him. And that's the year Gehrig hit 49 bombs and Ruth hit 60 and 27. And Gehrig said one of the greatest things in my total career was going and barnstorming with Ruth. And those other players didn't do that. They wouldn't do it. But that's why Babe did that. So most of those, yeah, I look at baseball like from 1960 on. That's kind of where baseball, to me, really, when you get, that's why the Winter Olympics, those are all country club white guy sports. Skeet shooting, luge. There's no brothers in that game. That's not a diverse Olympics. I get it. Hey, look, I like the Olympics, but a guy coming down on a luge versus Usain Bolt running 100 meters, that's a different world. You know? Seals, you should try to get Nick. I've been working on that, trying to get Nick on. Okay? Seals, the only time I pulled for Philly was Pedro versus the Yankees. Love Pedro Martinez. Just absolutely one of the greatest pitchers that's ever played. Yeah, Kim, I like Bo Jackson was probably the best athlete I've ever played against. So was Herschel Walker. The best athletes, Kim, that I ever played against was Bo, Herschel, Dion. Bo, Herschel, Dion. And if I could pick one more, Bo, Herschel, Dion. Who would be the other one that I played against? It'd have to be Eric Dickerson. Those guys were just, Frank Robinson won the MVP in both leagues. If you remember right, he also was a Rookie of the Year with the Reds. And when he became the first black manager in baseball history, he was with the Cleveland Indians. Remember how he got the job, Mr. Hill? They told him, if you want to be the black manager of the Indians, you also have to play. So for him to get the job, Frank Robinson had to he had to play. And Robinson was a Triple Crown winner too with the Orioles. His first year with the Orioles in 66. And if the next year, I think Yastrzemski won in 67, the Triple Crown. Robinson's one of the most underrated players of all time. Could you get prime time has a problem with me right now because I don't think he's doing a very good job at Colorado. Olympic hockey is like a all-star hockey. Look at the Canadian team. They're filthy. Listen, the thing that's different with Olympic hockey versus the NHL, the rink's bigger. And there's more space behind the net. Jim Craig told me that. The NHL rink is smaller. Okay. The Olympic hockey is more set up for spectacular skaters. Like if you've got a spectacular skating team, like back in the day, the Russians were so good because they were spectacular skaters. And the European hockey, the rinks are bigger. NHL, they're smaller. Like I said, there's more room behind the net in Olympic hockey and international hockey. NHL, it's tighter. Yeah, yes, he is a grumpy old man. I've asked him to come on my program a bunch of times. He's an ass. He is, man. Ordinary, yeah, you're right, Sells, but not right now. In Italy, it's 3 foot. Really? I didn't know that. Brian, I thought the rinks were bigger. Really, it's smaller. Huh. Hey, dude, always know this about Big Sills. We never surrender. When it comes to guests, I got a list of guys that I haven't had on yet. And Foles is up on that list, too, because I'm trying to work him, trying to get a couple contacts for him. We've already got Doug Peterson on. They're usually not this one. Interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay? I didn't. I didn't know that. I think we should sign Chubb and bring in another decent edge. we should let Phillips go. Yeah, because of the money. She sign Chubb for 12. Take the other 10, give it to Nakobe. Kick the can down the road on Jaylen Carter and Jordan Davis. You can wait. You're in no hurry. You're in no hurry. Hey, what if Jordan Davis is the one that gets better, and it's not Jaylen Carter, and he's more reliable? I might want to give him $25 million. See, to me, here's what's happened with me. Just because Jaylen Carter's got all the talent in the world, he got to live up to it. And I think Jordan Davis has made this a competition. Who am I going to pay? I'm not paying both $50 million. I'm not doing that. I mean, where in God's name do you see two $50 million defensive tackles in the NFL? Can you name me a place? Two $50 million guys. Right now, he's making what, 13, 14? You're going to pay him another 7 and pay him $25 million? And then you're going to turn around and give Jaylen Carter 35? That's $60 million. In your DTs? Wow. God forbid the guy gets hurt. You go from a $50 million guy, a $50 million tandem to no depth at all, and you're getting killed in the middle. I actually, like I said, to me, I actually think Jordan Davis is now making it a conversation. What if Jordan Davis goes into next year and he balls out and he gets 6.5 sacks and he gets 50 tackles, and all of a sudden Jaylen Carter's still shitting himself? You going to sign that guy to a $28, $29 million deal because why? You think he's going to be great? I don't know. I'm with you, man. It's my biggest problem this offseason on a player. Dean's proven me wrong. He's a player. He's a player. He's just not built for the NFL. Like Nolan Smith. Those guys are not built for the league. Dean is great, but he's not good if he's only available 6 to 7 games a season. I completely agree. Makes sense if you don't have a $40 million edge. See, that's why you go and sign Chubb for 12. You sign Chubb for $12 million, okay? $12 million. You save the other 10. Maybe what you do is you chop it up and you give whatever, Blankenship if you want to keep him. See, Blankenship's another guy. He's expendable. I don't really care about that guy, especially if Vic's around 1 year. Vic's around 1 year, you give Blankenship what, $7-8 million? You think Blankenship's a $7-8 million guy? Well, Sills, important. Well, the safety play got better because Phillips showed up. Dean missed half his career on injuries. It'll make no sense talking about paying him top dollar. I don't think $12 million is top dollar. I don't think that's top dollar. Signing Phillips, Blankenship, etc. is dumb. Yeah, Phillips, I'm not paying $23 million for him. Let me say this to you, Mr. Hill. Jaylen Carter, I'm down on. I think he's got Jerome Brown talent. Yeah, he's got Jerome Brown talent. You know what he doesn't have with Jerome? A desire to want to be great every play. Now, Jerome took plays off. He did. And do you know who Jerome was rep by? Who was Jerome Brown rep by? Does anybody know who his agent was? Anybody remember? Might be too young for you guys or too old for you guys. Does anybody remember who Drew Rosen I said it. Drew Rosenhaus repped Jerome. And now he reps Jaylen Carter. That's right. Rosenhaus reps him. Yep. One of the very first people he signed. I told you the story on Rosenhaus. So Drew Rosenhaus was an aspiring agent. He went to Miami, by the way, just so you know. He went to the University of Miami. And he would show up at our practice facility. And at the time, the NCAA was all over us. And he was paying people. This is a true story. He was paying. I'll give you for instance. One day an agent handed me, and I'm not going to tell you who. An agent handed me a bag with 10 grand in it. This is a true story. My aunt knows this. My grandfather made me give it back. I brought it home. My grandfather looked in the bag and he said he made me take it back. And so I had a bag. I had 10 grand in it. And I got on the airplane. I remember going home. The guy handed it to me. He goes, "We'll talk when you get home from break." Okay. I had $10,000. I was going to take my buddies out. I think maybe I used like $300. I took my friend to a dinner. Jim Colford has just since passed. And I remember I got to my grandfather's. He goes, "What's in the bag?" I said, "Look, guy gave me 10 grand. He goes, "Nobody gives you anything. What do you owe him?" He goes, "He wants to sign me as his agent." He goes, "Of course he does. You're easy. Give it back." My grandpa, I don't want to give it back. He goes, "Give it back." I had to go down to Miami. And I had to give this guy back 10 grand. Here's how much you take out of it. I go, "No, I had to put the 300 back in. My grandfather didn't want me owing you anything." My grandfather made me give $10,000 back. Yep. That's right, Yale. It's about 50 grand today. Brown paper back. This is a true story. We had agents everywhere at UM. I can't tell you how many people handed. I remember one guy, some alumni guy, handed me like $7,000 once. And I was at the tourist room. I was parking cars. Guy came out. I parked this Jaguar. He goes, "Here's 7 grand. And I was like, shit. I think this is great. A lot of that stuff. 10K at Club Space would have been a hell of a night. No, it was more strawberries, dude. That was the name of the joint. Not that I know anything about that stuff. All right. Woo, man. Angelo got him some ass today, boy. Woo! That's Xander's favorite coach, too, man. I'm sure he's disappointed. Angelo, he was dropping haymakers, man. He came down like he was like Bruno Sammartino, or he's dropping them elbows like he's Roman Reigns, man. He's just coming down on his boy. I don't know. All right. Without further ado, we bring in the man who is Nick Sirianni's favorite media guy, my boy, Big Z, Xander Krause. How you doing, brother?
You trying to dub me something, aren't you, Sills? You're trying to dub me something so you can put me in a box, Sileo? Not happening. By the way, there were so many holes in that argument. It looked like a sponge. Every time I looked up at the screen, I saw a sponge, like a SpongeBob character. So many holes in that argument.
What was the biggest hole that you thought that you heard?
Well, I'll tell you. Everybody ought to go and re-listen to the Angelo Cataldi interview today. And you listen to the first 20 minutes, and then he gets to the end, and he actually admits that the logic doesn't really work. And how can he call him the worst coach ever when he's the most successful coach ever? Even Angelo had to admit it on his own segment, but the stenods listening will not pick up on this.
Oh, my
But
God.
I'm the Sirianni lover boy. Now, I'm just logical and consistent.
Oh, my God almighty. So, again, you believe that Nick and what Nick has done, you believe it's because of Nick and not what the organization has made for him.
You are doing everything you can to put me in this box.
Wait.
No, I think Nick Sirianni's a good coach. I haven't been convinced he's anything more than a good coach. I think Jalen Hurts is better than good quarterback. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's between good and great. All right, on any given Sunday, he can be great, super great, or good, or bad. Chargers game, but I think that's where he falls. I think you have a great general manager. I think you put it all together when the stars align for you. You add Saquon, you get these things, boom, and you have great success. But I'm not of the belief that you can have this type of success if one of those is as much of a lackey as people would make you believe. And that doesn't have to be about Sirianni. That can be about Jeffrey Lurie. It can be about Jalen Hurts. It can be about Nick Sirianni. I think everybody has a piece of the pie, man. I really do. And I have a hard time saying that Nick Sirianni blows. Dude, how many times have I told you he's not my style? He's not. He's a goof. I like this. I like not goofs. He's a goof.
I got it. But that question then leads to this. Has Nick Sirianni made it undesirable for assistant coaches to want to coach in Philly?
See, that's a good question. I mean, that I think the tough way to answer that, though, is it him or is it the organization?
Well, isn't he the face of that question?
He's the face of it, but it also predates him.
Okay.
I mean, you can look at the Doug Peterson era. I mean, that might have.
Well, that goes into what I've been telling you about. Is the reason they're winning because of Nick, or is it what has preceded Nick on how they set this landscape up with the owner and the GM? That's what Xander. I think it's a complex question on what Nick's and how much responsibility Nick. Like the question in New England is this: is it Brady or Belichick? The question in Philly, it's not Nick or Jalen. It's Nick, Jalen, or is it Howie? I mean, or is it Howie and the owner and everyone else is interchangeable? That's what's made Philadelphia more complex of a question to ask. And that's why I'm out here with Nick going, how much is Nick responsible for the winning? I mean, could those two go anywhere else and win? I don't think so. But can Howie and Jeffrey bring someone else in and win? They have. That's my problem with Nick.
Well, I think that's, a fair way to look at it. But remember, I don't think you're putting enough stock into the ego of the front office.
Probably not.
That front office makes Nick Sirianni's ego look like, as Bob Brown says in the chat, a barnacle on the side of the boat. All right. I mean, that thing is so. I don't know. Are we going to debate this fucking forever? Is Nick Sirianni a total step?
No.
Is Jalen Hurts a total step?
No.
Come on, man.
Well, wait. Do you believe that Nick Sirianni's made it undesirable to want to be an assistant coach?
No, I think Jeffrey Lurie's had a bigger impact in that department.
The owner has.
In specifically the question of desirability to work in Philly, 100% the owner. It has nothing to do with it. Stop. They blow people out of here.
Bring that up with John tomorrow. Will you do me a favor?
John says the same thing. This is John's number one take. That the owner doesn't have a lick of patience and he blows people out the second he doesn't think it looks perfect. He's been saying all summer they act like the 5-win Eagles. They're the 11-win Eagles that went to the playoffs.
I don't get it. Here's something else I don't get. I want you to help me out, Big Z. Parks Frazier, 34.
Oh, this guy's a stiff.
34. Sean Manning, 33. Chris Cooper, who Angelo so rightly labeled a stiff. What the fuck's going on here, man?
I think Cooper's a stiff. I agree. I will say this. Angelo loves comments without the context. He brings up the 60 sacks. What he failed to mention is that they led the league in variations on their offensive line because they had so many injuries. Their starting 5-0 linemen played 80 snaps together all year. So they gave up a lot of sacks. There's no doubt. But, I mean, is that all on Chris Cooper? I don't know.
So let me think about something here, though. So the left guard is down in Bogota with fucking he's down there with the Escobar family doing back treatment.
He's Pablo Jurgens.
I think that was hilarious when I heard that today.
It wasn't Pablo Jurgens. It was something else.
You got a guy who's had 13 injuries on the left side. Then you got Lane Johnson who's missed, and yet somehow that football team won 11 games with Jeff Stoutland. And as you properly point out, they had the 9th best rushing attack. Okay, and
wait, real quick, all with a stiff head coach, right, and a stiff quarterback.
No, all with the Hall of Fame.
That's what the National Football Show will have you believe.
All with the Hall of Fame O-line coach that you made walk out the door for Chris Cooper.
The people are eating this up like it's a smoothie. It's unbelievable.
Chris Cooper replaces James Sterling. Holy shit, man. You got to be kidding me, man. Chris Cooper replaces Jeff Stoutland. That'll be the story of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Philly can make anything the story of the year, so I'm not going to say it won't be. But I think a bigger story is the players on the field. Are the players healthy? Is Jalen Hurts, running the ball, more? I just saw a comment in the chat of someone saying, well, Xander, if you think Jalen Hurts is good or great or whatever I said, and why don't you extend him? Well, that answer is very easy to me because Jalen Hurts is a specific skill set. And that skill set historically has not lasted as long as guys who play the position a different way. So I got to see it to make sure it's still there.
That's across the board in the NFL. That's not
100%. Yeah, that's not a Hurts thing. Pocket passers can play till they're 35, 40. Dual threats traditionally have not been able to do that, because of the beating that they take. So Jalen, is a unique player with a good skill set, but that's what I want to see before I extend him. I think that's a pretty easy answer there. But, I think it's more about the players this year, dude. I mean, does Saquon Barkley get hit behind the line? Can Cam Jurgens use his stem cells from Medellin to make a block? Can Landon Dickerson get a break from his wife building the whole house and get healthy? I don't know. These are things I don't know. And will they be good next year? Will they play well next year?
Parks Frazier was the passing coordinator in Carolina when they benched Bryce Young. And
was he? Wait, was he? I didn't even know that.
He was the passing coordinator.
When they went to Dalton?
Yeah.
Is that right? They went to Dalton?
Yep. 23. I'm just curious here. And then
that guy's a stiff.
I don't get it, man.
I think they're disenfranchising the quarterback a little bit.
I do too. And that's where I'm going.
I don't think they're giving if you're the quarterback, you're
not helping him.
You don't have to love every hire. You don't have to feel great. You don't have to make the choice. You don't have to even weigh in with an opinion. But don't you want to somewhat feel inspired or confident by the hire? Oh, wow, look at good hire. Let's see what this guy can do. I don't think you're getting it.
Wait a minute.
If you're Jalen, think about it. You're Jalen Hurts. You're in Cancun or wherever the hell you are right now. With your Jordan phone case, and you pick up the call, from the organization, and they say, so we didn't hire you a new quarterback coach. What we actually did is we moved the passing game coordinator of our shitty passing attack last year, and now we made him the direct coach of your room. I'd be like, man, let me enjoy my mojito and hang up the phone. Like, I don't feel good about that. That's not what I want to hear or feel.
Do you think this – let's look at it, believe it or not, on a positive side. Do you think this is going to empower Hurts more to lead the direction of the offense more? He's the most experienced guy in the building. These guys, this is a frat house, dude. This is like a Sigma High. This is what you're looking at here. This is like a fraternity, 33, 34. Who's got the keg? This is like who's got the kegger? It's $5 a cup. I mean,
I used to run the $5 a cup in high school at the Edgeleys.
Me too. I did.
I used to drive down to Broad and Cumberland North Philadelphia, Broad and Cumberland. The Jimmy Tips, his name was. He's closed down. Jimmy, I hope you're doing well, brother. Jimmy Tips, man. I used to take the subway from Girard Avenue down to Cumberland Avenue. I'd walk to Jimmy Tips. I'd put the thing in, order the kegs, take the car, go pick up the car, drive it, put the kegs in the back, and go and flip the cups. With some logos and 40s, Big So.
I worked at a place called TikTok Liquors. It was my secret job. So I'd go and get a keg for like $15, and because that's what they paid for it. And of course, I would charge $5 a cup. We put it in our dorm room.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Especially getting it for $15.
Yep. Oh my God. It was totally. Hey, dude, speaking of cheap, how about Cam Jurgens here, man? Bro.
Yeah.
He ain't cheap. You concerned about this? Because
I am.
One of my topics here is, hey, bro, I think the biggest concern right now is not who you're going to bring in as edge, who you're going to draft. It's that old line, bro. I'm more concerned every day about the old line.
I agree. I think that's completely fair concern. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I was waiting to talk to you too, and I listened to some of your open on it, but like, should I feel more concerned or should I feel more optimistic on Cam after hearing that? Like,
No way.
Because I will say this, I've heard, I've told the story before that my mom has MS. She was diagnosed with MS on my 18th birthday. She's been battling that. She's handled it like a champ, and she's, really gone down the road of like learning about her health and things, So one of the things though that I have heard her talk about was the power of stem cell treatment. Now, I've also heard her say it doesn't work for everybody.
No.
But I have heard the power of it, or at least the supposed power. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Believe me, I ain't that guy. All right, I dropped out of college. I wouldn't know. But is there some reason to feel some optimism? I don't know. Or is it just a sign that shit's not getting better in that back and he's looking for anything grasping at straws?
Here's what. So Mike Golick, you know who Mike is, obviously. So I get a call from him every now and then going, hey, in LA, they got a stem cell research lab. And I get asked to do stem cell stuff all the time from the NFL Players Association. You can go to Mexico. You can go to Arizona. There's certain places, Florida, they can do it as well. And sometimes it's cadavers. Sometimes it's your own. Sometimes it's live. And what they're doing, Xander, is this guy may have this problem. And he may have a nerve issue in his lower back. And what's happened is you got dead cells back there, which means you're trying to stimulate. This is last resort stuff. This is not, hey, this is not.
You're trying to get those cells healing or whatever. That's what it does, right?
You're trying to get them stimulated again.
Yeah, so they can heal themselves, basically. Yeah. Shit.
This tells me to tush push, and maybe that tush push and all that stuff. It's affected this guy big time.
Yeah. I've been saying I'm concerned about Cam Jurgens since the end of the year. He was my number one concern on the O-line. He remains my number one concern on the O-line. And I was looking at his contract. It's actually not as hard to move as you would think for a freshly done deal.
Yeah, they just gave it to him last year.
Yeah, it was freshly done. There's no doubt. They just gave him the damn deal. But I was looking at it. I'll pull it up and see what you guys think of it. Let me pull it up. Shoot.
When does that money start kicking in?
I'm going to pull it up here right in a second. All right. Give me 1 sec. Cam Jurgens. All right, here we go. Let me pull it up here so the great people of JAKIB Nation can see what I'm looking at here. All right, here we go. We got Cam Jurgens. All right. 26 cap hits, 5 mil. 26 cash is 12. So if you go down here, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. All right. So if you come over here, you can see here, the dead cap hit this year is 21 mil. Now, if I were to hit the cut button and I look at post-June 1 release or trade, you're looking at
30.
if you traded on post June 1, you have a 13 mil dead cap. Now I don't know how to read this. 320 to. All right, so if you do it after March 20th, in between them with June, you're going to have a $42 million cap hit. If you do it before then, you have a $30 million cap hit, and that's probably because there's some sort of bonus that's going to hit, right?
Yeah, roster.
Yeah, the new league year roster bonus. So that's still not great. I thought it was a little better, to be honest with you.
That's a lot of money, dude. They're not going to do it, especially with pending deals with what they're going to do with AJ. By the way, that deal right there, man, that really, you have to draft. You're not signing free agent. Like people were asking me about Tyler Linderbaum. You can fucking forget that. You're not going down that lane at all. Moving him the right guard and bringing in Linderbaum. So what are you going to have? $140 million in 5 guys? That's not going to cut it, dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're this. You know what? Of all the deals,
let's see what it does. We can click this manage contract. Let's do post June. What do you want to do? Trade them or release them? We're just having fun. We're obviously not. They're not moving on from camp. But I just want to
release. Let's do release first.
Post June 1, right?
Yep.
See, I actually think free is interesting because it might be before the contract. So if you do pre-June or post-June 1 release, you're looking at an $18 million cap hit still this year, I think, right? That's what this is showing here?
Yes.
Minus $13 million will be saved. So you'll lose $13 million.
Yep. Try pre.
Pre, yeah, you're losing even more, 27.
Yeah, right. Do
All
trade.
Right. Post June 1 trade, you're saving $1 million too, but you're probably incurring a bunch of dead caps. You got 25, 14, and 1, which makes up the $40 million.
Yep.
That's not that crazy though.
It's not. But AJ's the one, man.
You want to do AJ?
Let me do AJ. I want to see AJ because I got to tell you something, Xander. Outside of everybody in Philly, Armando Salguero was on with me this morning in Tampa. He says that's a foregone conclusion that AJ's gone.
Yeah, that's the talk around the league for sure.
He gets the money. Everyone gets the money, but everybody that's showing up at the combines this weekend, they believe AJ's gone. I'm not so sure.
See, this isn't.
Where are you on that? Where are you on that?
I think we're right in the middle, dude. I think the Eagles are smart enough to know they're not going to get better, but I also think they know he's probably done here. So, I think I think John's right. You probably got to convince him. And if it doesn't work, you're going to move him and take the hit. I mean, if you look at it here, June 1st designation, $45 million dead cap hit. Now, if you do post June 1 trade, which is what they would do. Remember, if they do that, though, they won't get the draft pick this year. The draft pick will be for 2027. So that's manageable, though. 16 and then 27 and then 7.
But wait, Xander. So you would get the draft pick in a year if Hurts bombs that you could potentially package the deal up. If Hurts bombs, you could
dude silly.
Hey, you could package a deal up to move up, right? To go get your boy Trinidad Chambliss.
Let's do post June 1 trade for AJ. $9 million saved, but you're taking on big old dead cap hits. 29 mil.
Then you'd have to draft a rookie wide receiver so that he'd be on a rookie contract. You're not paying a big wideout, big money.
And he'd still give you a dead cap hit of 14 this year and 25 next year.
Man, that's big money, man. Now, if AJ wants out so bad, he can restructure his contract. Because to make it, if you really want out, remember what they did with Kevin Byard?
Yeah, right. Like if you really want out, dude, you're gonna have to give us some give, or you can whine and moan all year.
That's
We're
right.
not moving you.
Not moving you. I'm not killing my team and my salary cap because don't get your bat and ball in your ways. I'm not doing that, dude. Now, if you really want out, I'll help you out this way. You got to help us out. You got to make it feasible for us to move you. Right? When do you think that conversation, or do you think that's been had already?
I think that's probably been had with his agent. Especially if I think Jeff McLean is a good reporter. I tend to believe the things that Jeff McLean
I do
puts
too.
out. He put out that AJ was basically did ask for a trade, and that happened in the
Was
year.
that last year?
Yeah, that happened multiple times. He said it happened in week 4.
You think that's why Jeffrey Lurie went to the practice and said, "Stop with the social media stuff. You keep it quiet. We'll make it happen."
Yeah, but I'm also of the belief that Jeffrey Lurie is actually more wired like AJ Brown than he is like anybody else in that room.
Okay.
Emotional, wants the passing game. I mean, that's kind of AJ. That's kind of Jeffrey. I think Jeffrey understood. Now, they probably did ask because they don't like bad publicity, even though they do a lot of things to get it. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, you're not going to get better. I mean, that's for sure. You're not getting any better.
Yeah, but you're going to get quieter. And you're not going to you're going to have people rowing in the same. Would you rather, Xander, would you rather have a team that's rowing in the same direction, or would you rather have one guy on an island that's kind of like rowing against the tide, where everybody's trying? Don't you think you'd have more success with people rowing in one direction than one guy trying to fight the direction? Because that's what I felt AJ was doing last year. I felt AJ was fighting against the tide, and I think it hurt you a couple times in games.
I do too. I think it did hurt him, but I still don't think you're going to get better.
Okay. You mentioned the O-line. If the O-line is a major concern, surely Barkley has to be then. Is that economically well spent money if you got a shitty O-line?
No, it's not. But I think they believe that the O-line will is still good. They just had a bad year. And I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, the biggest thing with the O-line to me right now is like you lost Jeff Stoutland. And I know I'm not even trying to turn this into like Jeff Stoutland's going to be the reason that you can't be good on offense, because I don't believe that. But I do think about specifically the offensive line, specifically that room, okay? When we used to draft O-linemen, I used to say, if that guy's a good player, he's going to be a good player in Philly. If he's not, then nobody can make him a good player. Look at Andre Dillard. Look at guys like that. He's not going to turn water to wine. But if there's a good player and the Eagles draft him, Jeff Stoutland's going to make him a good player. Just like Mekhi Becton, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata. That's what I believed. Now, if they draft Caden Proctor in the first round, or they draft Caleb Lomu, the Utah kid, are they going to develop? I hope. I don't know. Right. How am I supposed to know?
Would you rely more on Jason Kelce's opinion and elevate him more in a conversation? I'm not saying that Howie Roseman's going to make a decision based on what Jason Kelce says. Jason Kelce did, and Cam Jurgens, dude, he did. I know, look, it was by reputation on what he did in 24, how he got that Pro Bowl this year. But maybe you elevate that way, because this guy, Chris Cooper, I'm kind of concerned.
Me too. I just don't see
I don't see him getting someone better, do you?
Yeah, and coaching and playing is different. I mean, he was a good player, but he really hasn't had that much success as a coach.
Correct.
So,
All right, I got a question for you here. Tell me if this makes sense to you. First, I'm going to go here. Why not, and I brought this up yesterday to you, why not go get Bradley Chubb? Why not get him? Pay him $13 million. You're saving $10 million. Give that $10 million to Kobe. Kick the can down the road on both Jordan Davis and Jaylen Carter.
You can't kick it down the road on Davis anymore.
Why not?
Well, you want him to have free agency next year? You
just did the fifth-year option on him.
Yeah, so this is his fifth-year option this year. So after this year, he's unrestricted. Now, he could do a bond and do a deal with you before, but if you wait till the fifth year, he's not. I mean, that's different than Bond. Bond was signed as a free agent on a cheap deal.
Can I tell you why I'm doing that? That I would risk that. Here's why. Now follow me here. I'm not going to sign Carter either, and I'm going to tell you this. I thought about this last night. You want me to motivate two guys in one stone here? Hey, I'll tell you what, Jordan Davis has pushed the gamut where it's a conversation that I feel better on giving that guy a contract extension than Jaylen Carter. Jaylen Carter shits the bed for a second year.
Yeah, right.
I feel more apt to give that guy the $26 million, $25 million and pay him on a 3-year contract. You concerned
with Jordan Davis post paying? Like
no. I could, as long as Clint Hurts there. No.
Okay.
Clint has no problem.
I'm not either, but the only reason I asked the question was, it's fair to point out that it took him until he was in his contract year to get in shape and play the position. Now, there's development. I get that. That's all part of it. I'm not saying he should have been this product in year one. I'm not saying that. But I don't know. So as you used to always say, and you're right about this, showing up in shape takes no talent.
No.
That doesn't matter whether you're the 7th round pick, a 1st round pick, or undrafted. You control that.
Yep.
That's a little concerning to me.
That's desire.
Right.
But I think Clint Hurts done a better job than Tracy Rocker. Okay. And I think he's done a way better job with both those men. But who would you have more of a concern with, Carter or Davis right now?
Well, it depends. Put the number on each and I'll tell you the answer.
Okay.
Did you hear what John's numbers were for Jordan?
30 and 25.
30 million for Jaylen and 25 for Jordan?
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't hear my segment today. You want to take a stab at what John McMullen put the contract projection for Jordan Davis at?
$184 over 3.
What do you mean 184?
$184 million.
Over 3 years?
No, over 4.
For who?
For Jordan Davis.
Still, that's $40 million a year. $50 million.
No. 4 years. 4 years.
You're not doing your math right.
How much did Milton Williams get?
4 years, 104.
Okay, that one.
Or somewhere in that range.
4 years, 104. Milton Williams deal.
John put it at this. You're gonna crack up. 3 for 45 and 30 million guaranteed.
Where the fuck is he playing? 1992? No way.
I said that. Now let's take a look.
There's no way that guy's
He's not a pass rusher. He's a run. And this is because I said to John, I'm like, John, you're off your run.
Okay, wait a minute. Is that guy in Dallas a pass rusher they gave 20 a year to?
Who, Osa?
Yeah. Is that guy a pass rusher?
Kinda.
Well, didn't he have 4.5 sacks, Davis, this last year? Well, who's Jordan Davis's comp? Is it Vita Vea?
He's 17 million.
Well, shit, what's he making now?
Ford is not as good as Jordan. He got $9 million last year a year. Another name John used is it Travis Jones?
Yes. Let me fucking take a look at this.
Go ahead. I'll pull it up. I'll do it with you.
Jordan Davis. Let me go into my NFLPA. Jordan Davis market value.
Travis Jones in Baltimore signed a 3-year, $40 million deal with an average annual salary of $13.5.
So you're telling me you think that 4 years, $82 million? That's kind of where I'm at.
What did you say?
4 years, 82.
That's rich.
That's 20 per.
20.5 per. John thinks that's egregious to go to 20 because you do not have to. Nobody's paying him that. Nobody. That's what John said. Now, John's not always right. Just take it for what you will. But he did have some good backup on in terms of when you don't rush the passer in the NFL.
It's true.
You don't get as much money. Edge rushers and pass rushing tackles will always get the most money. Chris Jones, that's why Jaylen Carter is going to get paid. That's why Milton Williams got paid. That's why Morwood Jomo might get paid.
So here's what Jaylen Carter's is being projected at. 4 years, $140 million.
So that's rich.
That's 35
like
per.
Yeah, 35 per. That's like 37 per.
He's 24 years old
per year. That's a big contract, dude. I don't think Jaylen Carter. I think Jaylen Carter is an awesome player. I do not think he's earned that yet.
5th-year option.
And I'm kind of guy who wants everybody to get as much money as possible because I get money.
Well, dude, that 5th-year option that you pick up on him, if you pick that up,
yeah,
it's going to be $27 million.
Is that what it's going to be?
Yeah.
I got to talk about that. Let me get that number.
That's going to be $27 million because the 5th-year option will be in 27 for him. And that's when that 5th year will kick in. So that's going to be $27 million. By the way, we'll read all your supers at the end of the segment. Hit the like button, guys. I don't know. Dude, why not? So would you sign one of those guys now?
I'd sign Jordan Davis now. If you let's say John's a little off. Let's say 3 years, 50. I'd write that right now. I'd write that deal right now. See, when I pushed back to John, I said, John, I think it's going to be closer 3 years, 55. So I'm more closer to you. Like I'm like just under 20.
Yeah, he's going to be a $17, $18 million a year.
I agree with you. I think 17, 18 is right in the number. But he's not going to be 25, 30.
No, absolutely not. He's not.
I think that's where you initially were with him.
Yeah, I was wrong. I'm here. Let me take a look at the stats on this guy, the guy who plays for the Cowboys.
Who? Osa Obidigizua or whatever his name is.
Okay, get this. This guy's making 20 a year. He had 3.5 sacks, and he had 44 tackles total. So let me take a look. Let me take a look at Davis.
Jordan's got better numbers than that.
Yeah, here's Davis's numbers this year. Jordan Davis had 72 total tackles and 4.5 sacks and 9 TFLs. To sit there and say that guy's not going to get 20, people are fucking smoking. You're going to get $13 million a year?
No, 15. But I'll tell you what. You know what Howie's response is going to be when his agent brings up that contract, right?
He don't play every down.
No, it's going to be that's the Dallas Cowboys. They make a lot of dumb decisions.
And you know what he also is going to bring up? It took you a contract year to get your ass in shape because he's going to bring that line you brought up.
I agree.
Hey, what happened to the other 3 years? Dude, he had 72 tackles. I got to tell you, man, that's a fucking hell of a year.
Jordan Davis is a good player. I do.
How he didn't make the Pro Bowl is ridiculous.
What's that?
How he didn't make the Pro Bowl is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey,
definitely.
by the way, if he had made the Pro Bowl, he goes into a second tier. And do you know the reason that contract for Jordan Davis or Jaylen Carter is higher? Because he was all pro. And he's second team all pro. That means that number goes up to 27, 29 million on that extension or that 5th-year option. Yep. Wrong player got designated with the Pro Bowl.
Right.
See, you're kind of in a bind with Carter. Say that again.
Made the Pro Bowl. We're running mocks on how to cut them.
I got another guy here for you. I want you to list. You know, I thought about
this.
Real
quick. All right, so you agree here. Jordan Davis, if the deal's 3 years, $55 million, you do it. That's around 17 a year.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that if I was him.
Okay, now wait. Now some crappy team that's trying to turn the organization around offers them 3 years, $63 million, which is 21 a year, and $42 million guaranteed. Do you match that offer or do you let him walk?
Like if I'm the Bucks, I
got
to think about Vita Vea is 30-some years old now. I got to think about moving on from that guy. Is that my nose? Is that my run-stopping guy in the middle of my defense that I'll play 22? And I'll just move the money from Vita Vea to him? I mean, Vita Vea is getting long in the tooth, dude.
I know he is.
Or how about this one? How long before Dexter Lawrence starts getting long in the tooth and the Giants start going like this? Hey, I tell you what, you know what? You guy knows the division, and Dexter Lawrence, he's got to be 31.
Let me look up Dexter Lawrence. He's an interesting comp, too, for contract.
Yeah, that one psycho year he had 11 sacks. I mean.
4-year, 90 he got. So he got 23, I think 22 and a half a year.
How old is he?
Dexter is 28.
I thought he was young. I thought he was older.
Yeah, he's still young, man.
Yeah, he's still a young dude. Okay,
So
so
he turned 28 in November, too. He's still a little bit of a spring chicken. Not fully, but he's a,
No, I'm with you. Let me see Vita Vea here. Because I'm looking for a market. Is there a market for him?
There definitely is.
Vita Vea is 31.
And he's making 17 a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got 4 years, 71. Like, I would redo that deal. I would do the Vita Vea deal for Jordan Davis right now. 4 years, $71 million. It's $17.75 million per year. And how much did he have it guaranteed? Oh, he only had $14 million guaranteed?
Yeah.
What?
That's why but the cap hits high on him. See,
well, how did he only get $14 million guaranteed?
I better check his agent. Hey, by the way, well, hang on. You want to know why agents are bad sometimes and why the Eagles are great? Take a look at Dak's contract and how much money he got guaranteed.
He got 34 total guaranteed, not 14 guaranteed at sign.
Well, that sounds reasonable then.
Yeah.
That's more.
Wait, what did you say? Check out who's guaranteed?
Check out Dak's guarantee.
Dak
how much he got up front?
He got a lot.
Not really. For the price,
they did, bro.
$90 million, right?
No.
114?
231.
He got a signing bonus of 231?
No, total guaranteed money had 231. It was a record.
Okay. $80
million signing bonus.
Yeah, okay. The $80 million.
That's a sign. That's it. Can you explain? Yeah, when they say signing bonus, does that mean literally paid right when you sign the deal?
You're not only getting this. That doesn't count your salary. So, like, he made 100, like he made 60 and then 80. Now, depending on
Wait. They paid him $80 million and then 60 a year?
Yes.
No.
Yes. That's not part, that's your signing bonus.
Wait. What? No way.
Wait a minute. Yes, it is.
No, because then Jalen Hurts would be making fucking $80 million a year.
No. Jalen's salary kicked in this year. The signing bonus was given to him when he signed the contract. If you remember right, he got the signing bonus and he was still on that old deal. This is the first year, right, where he's getting that salary of 50. Dak, you get 60 and then they probably paid it over quarters, 4 quarters of the year.
That's funny, man. We sit up here and talk about these contracts and like we're so numb to it. It's like,
oh yeah,
I could use like $100 right now. Like literally, like I would literally have great benefit and great use for $100 right now. We're talking 231 million guaranteed. Holy shit.
Xander wants to go buy a case of ramen
I just did my fucking taxes all day. I'm sick to my stomach.
Hey, Xander wants to buy ramen noodles, a case of ramen noodles.
Oh my goodness. But,
hey, dude, I got a guy here for you. Here, listen. So I brought this up yesterday. How about adding Kyle Pitts to your offense? Hang on. Before you say no, you lose AJ. What's the number one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles struggle with? It's going across the middle of the field. If you look at Pitts' numbers, his rookie year, he had 1,000 yards. Last year, he almost had 1,000 yards and 88, and he's 25. He's 25 years old. He's been in the league 5 years. He's fucking a young kid still. And they were going through a transition with Michael Penix and with what to do with Kirk Cousins, right? It was a shit show. He's not a dominant blocker. However, he's a pass catcher. Him and Drake London were fucking good last year, dude, in that passing attack. They were pretty good. How about a guy like that to enhance the middle of the field? I mean, if you want to really be an elite quarterback, Xander, you said it about a month ago. You got to threaten the middle of the field. Can't be a guy throwing to the numbers only. What about him being at it? So you got Smitty, him, and you'd have another guy. If AJ's not there.
I think your theory is good, but my question would be, is it a false win? Like, that's not going to fix the skill set of the quarterback, right? You know what I mean? Like, in theory, you can get a player who's dominant in the middle. But if the vehicle to get him the ball in the middle of the field is still the same and it's not unchanged, which maybe it's not unchanged.
That's why you're hiring all these coaches, I thought, was to be able to create that you to be able to get the ball to him.
You would think, to some extent.
Somebody, I hear Yale in there going, what about blocking? Well, Yale, I don't think they're going to be a dominant team at the point of attack anymore. I think they're going to be more of a spread offense.
Yeah, they're going to be finesse.
It's going to be a finesse offense. Yeah. And isn't Kyle Pitts a finesse player?
Yeah, I hate this. Bro, East Coast.
Bro, you're going away from everything that made you great.
Philadelphia, bullies, O-line, run the football, ground and pound. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Pitts was the 4th overall pick.
Is this our movie producer owner who wants to turn us into Los Angeles?
I think it's your owner who just really, I think this guy sits on a hot seat himself.
I think you're right.
I think he just
and maybe there's some good to that, you know. I don't think it's all criticism of it.
Now, is it sense of urgency or is it just?
That's what I mean. It's like one of those things where it's like you got to walk the line. It's a tight line to walk.
Man, what do you make of this whole shit with Harper going on, Bryce Harper?
He's like a little bit of a fucking buttercup.
Fucking really.
Like, dude, fucking go up there and play ball. Like, wait, you know what I think Bryce Harper wants? I think he still wants love for his big home run he hit in the NLCS like 4 years ago. Like, dude, I don't give a fuck about the home run in the NLCS 4 years ago anymore. Like, I don't really know. I mean, that team, I'm a little bit out on them. I'm not out on them because I love baseball, and it's one of my favorite things to watch. When the football season's over and I know I don't watch it the same way. It's a lot more, loose watching for me. I'll keep it on the TVs. Sorry, let me fucking mute this, man. Holy shit. But that team is,
man. Harper's in the wrong city to be moaning.
He's moaning, man.
Dude, you don't moan like that. Like you're being questioned because you fucking like.
Wait, you know what was crazy? That Angelo,
I couldn't believe Dave Dombrowski really didn't make a crazy comment. He had 275 and 27 homers. We need more from you, and he moaned over it. Like I thought we kept everything behind. I'm like, bro, you did. I didn't know anything about Castellanos doing that shit on the bench, drinking beers.
Dude, that's what I'm about to bring up. Like, I know a lot of people listening, and I get it. At one point I was in your shoes, and it's a little different now because I do what I do. But I know a lot of people out there like, oh, reporters are, this or that. They don't like them, and I get it, whatever. That's like what you want a reporter for, though. Like, how does nobody figure that out? And I do fear that we're reaching that point with the Eagles where all the smoke we consistently see, and most of the people covering the team tell me there's no smoke. I'm like, dude, I see it pouring out of the walls. There's smoke. No, don't look there. That's not smoke. Well, it's smoke. Same with the Phillies team. And there wasn't a single reporter covering that team that uncovered that. There used to be some really good Phillies reporters. That NBC guy, shoot, why am I blanking on his name, man? I feel bad because I shouldn't be blanking on his name. It's a brain fart by me.
The NBC.
Tim Salisbury. He would have reported that. Nobody's covering the team the right way.
No way. And
I mean,
the radio station
who's on the sidelines telling off the coach, and nobody reports it. It's
Yeah.
all about dancing and how great the camaraderie is, and they're the greatest friends in the world in the locker room. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I mean, if I were a Phillies diehard fan, I would be livid.
All right, I was just sent this on Jaylen Carter and the comps. Entering year 4, Eagles DT Jaylen Carter is now contract extension eligible. Carter is projected to land a 4-year worth between 120 and 140, likely averaging more than 30 per. The DT market has taken off the last couple years. Here's a look at the highest paid DTs in the NFL. Chris Jones at 31.75, Milton Williams at 26, Zach Allen, who plays in Denver, is at 25.5. They signed him from Arizona. Nnamdi Mekupa, 24.5, and Alim McNeil, 24.2.
That's good.
One of the most disruptive players in the NFL turns 25 in April. Are his shoulders okay? That's one of the.
Well, you remember the Alim McNeil story, right? As it relates to Philadelphia. Wasn't
there a guy they took?
Wait,
somebody wanted him. Wait. Who wanted Joe? Somebody wanted him.
Yes.
Tell me.
Yeah. Remember the famous Howie Roseman in the draft room where he was arguing with the guy Donahue?
Neil Donahue.
No, what's that guy's name?
Tom Donahue.
They were arguing. Donahue wanted Alim McNeil. Howie took guess who?
Jalen Reagor.
Milton Williams. 3rd round pick. Donahue wanted Alim. Howie wanted Milton. Turns out they were both right.
Yep. They were both right. But you know what? Howie was right. More. You know why? Howie didn't have to pay big 1st-round money for the guy because he got him in the 3rd.
They were both 3rd rounders.
They were. I thought he.
Remember, Alim was available.
Wow, those 2 guys were 3rd rounders.
Both of them. Yep. Dude, when Milton Williams got drafted,
Louisiana Tech.
I remember doing the draft segments on the channel. I made all the graphics, so I would sit, back in 22 and 23 before I was on the air. I would sit in front of my TV on draft day, and I would wait for the pick for the Eagles. And I'd have all my graphics open. I would create the thumbnail, create the link for the show, and we'd go live instantly after the pick. I remember waiting there. I remember waiting there. Yeah, we had D-Gun who did our draft segments at the time.
Yep.
I remember waiting there, and they said Milton Williams, and I was like, "Who the hell is Milton Williams?" And I looked up Milton Williams, and basically no pictures came up of Milton Williams, and I'm like, "Who is this dude? They just took in the 3rd round," but turned out to be a damn good player.
Didn't he lead college football one year in sacks at Louisiana Tech? He had like 20. Dude, I think he led because I remember his name, Milton Williams.
Milton Williams is a flat out awesome player. He's an awesome player. He seems like an awesome dude, and just a great story.
I really like. Remember when we had Skip Holtz on? Skip Holtz coached him when Skip was the head coach at Louisiana Tech. So here, check this out. His college stats. I thought one year he led college football in sacks. He had like a monster. He had a monster. No, I'm wrong here.
No, you might be thinking of a different dude.
I am thinking of a different guy. Wow, look at this. They took him with marginal numbers.
Yeah.
5.5, 4.5.
Yep.
Like he had 59 tackles, 44.
That's what I mean. There wasn't even like pictures of the guy online.
You're right, man. He is unassuming.
So,
what do you make of Kyle Pitts? What'd you make of that? What I said?
I like what you said. I don't think it would work out as good as you said, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't think it'd work out as good as you said, but I like the player. I think you have a little bit of the concerns there. Like, is he another undisciplined dude? I don't know. Has he done everything to get the most out of his skill set? I'm not really sure of that answer. He's from around here. We pointed it out yesterday. Went to Archbishop Wood. So Abington, too, 5 minutes away from me, Abington High School. Shout out to Abington. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's the right fit, and I think he's going to get paid a lot of money, probably more than he should.
Okay, Jake Elliott, what do you do this offseason?
Oh, I'm with you. Get rid of him. I mean, you're the bottom 5 kicker for 2 years in a row. How many more years do I need to see a bottom 5 kicker?
At $6 million.
It's a kicker. I mean, if the kicker can't make kicks anymore, then get a new guy who can make kicks. That's it. That's how I view kickers. I mean, if you're not good, so I mean, I watched the Rams change their kicker in the middle of the year. People change kickers. If
and their special teams coach.
Huh?
And their special teams.
Yeah, and their special teams coach. That's right. Yeah. I don't know. Get rid of him. I'm done with him.
You gotta do something with him. All right. So will AJ be traded before the draft or after the draft?
After. It's got to be after because they got to do post June 1.
What if you trade him?
Remember, so
you're right. That's right. You don't get to pick this year.
If you designate the post June 1, the trade doesn't go through, which means you're not going to get the draft pick
until next year.
So you'd have to trade for a 20. That means you're projecting where the pick will be. So you can't get, all right, let's trade him for the 44th overall pick. You're trading for a second rounder. Now, maybe Howie likes that better. Howie might look at the teams and say, this team's going to suck, whatever. I don't know. Maybe he knows, but who knows?
I got between 7 and 9 wins. What do you have right now?
I got like 10 and
you got north of 10?
I got 10 or 11. I don't have 13 or 14. I got 10 or 11 right now. I don't even feel great about 12. I think 10 or 11.
What if they keep AJ and keep Goddard?
Yeah, then I'll feel like a 11 or 12 is a lot more possible. What I'm not going to do, though, is I'm not going to go – I think the lowest I could see myself going would be 9 wins here. I can't predict lower than 9 wins. They've never had less than that with Jalen and Nick.
Nope.
Even in year 1.
Yep.
When they started 2-5, they had 9 wins.
They went out a heater on the end of the year.
Yeah.
You still comfortable with O-line, with a new O-line coach? Or do you think that changes the dynamic that you got Chris Cooper as your O-line coach? Do you think they go somewhere else? Or do you think Howie's confident in his people to be able to still go O-line? Or if you sign Chubb to a contract, do you still go O-line? Is that more solidified that you go O-line? Or do you think, again, they go a different route, maybe tight end at that 23rd pick?
I think it changes a lot, Sills, but I think the biggest change is forget the new guys for a second. Is the new style fit the guys they currently have? I'm not even talking about their injuries. Like, let's just assume that Landon and Cam come back healthy and Lane's going to play. Does the new style of offense fit? Those guys are, I mean, John's right about that. Landon Dickerson is a mauler. He is a physical mauler.
He's not a level guy.
A stretch arm blocking kind of guy.
He's not a level guy.
Yeah. And he doesn't, you're going to have him stretch blocking? I mean, come on.
No way.
So I think that's a bigger question there.
I think your tackles can do it.
Me too. I do too. Me too. I think they're Lane, I feel really good if he was 30, but Lane is older, dude. That's a lot.
I think Lane can do Lane's still a good athlete to do it. I think you maybe have to get him some help over there on the tight end position. That would help him. But again, Xander, I just don't know the style. How much are you going to drastically change the passing game to fit the more you go passing, the more you're getting away from Hurts. Like, don't you agree? Jalen's value on the market as just a drop back quarterback. He's half the player. He's not a $50 million a year guy.
I mean, in a vacuum, yeah, but I don't think that's how it'll be viewed. Like, in other words, if Jalen were on the open market right now, I think he'd have teams lined up. But that's because there's a lot of bad teams and a lot of quarterback needy teams.
You know why I think they would be lined up?
The Jets are lining up for Kyler Murray, bro. Who would you rather have, Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah,
you're right. Hey, but it's, you know what? I've rethought that question. Someone goes, would you rather have Jalen Hurts than a guy like Joe Burrow if you were starting a team. And I thought to myself, I went, wait a minute, from scratch? No. Well, wait. Okay, you're not going to have 5 great old linemen. And if I don't have Joe Burrow being able to move around and he's getting mauled back there, what's the point of having Joe Burrow?
On what team? If you're the Bengals,
I'm saying if I had to start building from scratch a quarterback, don't you want a quarterback that's elusive to be able to get away? Because you're not going to have 5 great old linemen. You're going to have stiffs up there, dude. Wouldn't you want a guy that's able to be mobile and get away? Makes more sense to me to have a guy that can get out.
Well, yeah, it's easier to flip a bad organization with a dual threat quarterback than a traditional.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's for sure true.
Joe Burrow on a new team is not a good proposition. How are you going to build around a guy? Listen, wait a minute, though. How are you going to build around a guy if you can't block for him? What's the point of having a 30-50? What's the point of having a $50 million O-line or a $50 million quarterback if you got a $2 O-line?
I think I'm still going to take Joe Burrow. Did you have to use Joe Burrow as an example?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to, you guys
use Sam Darnold, your new boyfriend, your Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. He came through for me, didn't he?
No Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't give a shit about that.
Nick Foles got that too. He got a Super Bowl MVP. Him and Jalen could go to night out for the boys there and show their Super Bowl MVPs, even though Nick Foles had a better game than Jalen.
Well, Jalen Hurts was the one they trotted out with Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Eli.
Yeah, and I saw Steve Young crop him out.
Steve also posted a video of him.
I did. I think he felt bad. I think Young felt bad because he cropped him out. But wait a minute. Watch this. Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. And it hurts. It's like, what doesn't fit? Who's the ugly chick? You love that dude, man. I give it to you. Jalen, you hang in there with him. It's all right.
I don't think I love him or I don't love him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's brought a lot to the city. I can recognize that while also not sit here and act like he's does no wrong. I think he's got a skill set. When the skill set is accentuated and when he's put in a position to win, he is phenomenal. Is it perfect all the time? Hell no. Does it make for an ugly offense sometimes? Absolutely. Is it, maybe tough as a receiver to play with him? Sure. All those things can be true at once. But at the end of the day, there's an old line I used to love from a rap song. What the fuck is this line? Let me think of this. Something about as long as the outcome is income, all right? And the outcome is income, all right? The outcome, the output is laying up, is properly lining up with what the input is. So I can live with it.
Somebody, so I got this from, somebody sent this to me. Why Eagle Star is the most hated player in the NFL. And this is out of NJ.com. And there's a column here. Despite winning a Super Bowl last year and earning several other accolades during his career, Hurts is still labeled by some critics as a fraud or overrated. NFL legends Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson have some ideas. They don't like the way he does things, but he only does what they ask him to do. And there's a column here on him being one of the most hated men in the NFL. What's your takeaway on that?
Jalen Hurts is one of the most hated men.
Eagle News. This is on Bleeding Green Nation.
That's they're saying fan bases. That's because people are jealous of Jalen Hurts. That's a fact.
One study claims Jalen Hurts is the most hated player. And this was your boy, Brandon Lee Gouton.
Yeah, but they did like this big it's not him, he just wrote about it. They did this big thing of I guess where they polled NFL fans on social media basically. Yeah, people don't like Jalen Hurts because he's successful as shit. Pinch me if you've heard that before. Yeah, somebody achieves great success and a bunch of small minds don't like it.
But if you're looking at it that way, that's ridiculous. The jealousy stuff is stupid.
I agree with you. And I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying I think that is a portion of people.
That's not how I see the guy.
Dude, there's a Nick Saban quote that I absolutely
Are you really people hate him because of what he's accomplished?
Dude, that's a tale as old as time. Hi, we're ready for the Nick Saban quote. One of my favorite quotes of all time from Nick Saban. High achievers hate mediocre people, and mediocre people hate high achievers. That is a fact of life.
I completely believe that Jalen Hurts is a complete overachiever.
100% he is.
And he's one of the greatest You can make the argument that he is probably the most he's one of the most overachieving players right now in today's NFL.
Dude, it's pretty. Look, me and you. One thing I love about our segment is we talk about everything. Like we get it all out. Every thought that you might have, we get out there, and I like that. Sometimes it causes me to look like I go back and forth, which is fine. I do. That's part of thinking.
Well, because
I do like that we lay out our thoughts. And one of the things that I do think is pretty freaking cool about this era of the Eagles and specifically Jalen is before Jalen ever had this success with the Super Bowl and the MVP, and I know maybe some people think, oh, it's gone in his head, whatever. He kind of told Philly that he was going to do this. And whether you believe it's him or not, that's not my point. He came in here and he put on a cape and said, get on. We're going to go and achieve great things. And we've had one Super Bowl in franchise history before he showed up. Obviously, the odds were against him. And to sit here a couple years later now, and all right, are we debating the team now? Absolutely. But we got one. Like, that's pretty dope. I respect that he was able to accomplish that goal with it being such a hard goal. I know we compare him to, people who are incredible, but that's pretty sick that we actually got one in Philly with Jalen.
Let me ask you if this goes down and why it's kind of reversed from Wentz. When Wentz first got here, he was beloved. People wanted him to be a star, and he was. When Jalen got here, he wasn't. He was a second-round dude. People hated the pick. And here's a guy that they looked at him and goes, is that the guy that was fired in Alabama? So he has had to overcome more. Is that correct? People like to change the narrative all of a sudden and say, well, they drafted him. Well, they never did. That's not true. You guys did not draft him to be your future. You drafted him to be a security blanket in case something happened.
Yeah, and he seized his opportunity.
Correct.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, that's true, 100%.
By the way,
I think he's had to overcome a lot. I mean, I also, we'll give the full context too. I mean, I do think, and maybe this is a credit to him as a person, picking and choosing. I think he chose the right spot. I mean, he went to successful environments. He didn't go to places where he wanted to be the savior. He wanted to do it all. He went to Alabama. He trained. He said, let me go to – I need to get better at my quarterback skills. Let me go to Lincoln Riley. Now he didn't choose to come to the Eagles, but the Eagles have obviously done a good job at putting everything around him. So I don't know. He's had a good hand, but he's also seized every opportunity that's come his way, and he deserves a great deal of credit.
Is this fair to say about Hurts? Is that Jalen Hurts' abilities they're overshadowed by his intangibles?
When you say overshadowed, what do you mean?
Well, he's not one of the more skilled players in the game at that position.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But his intangibles, in many ways, he fits in better when it – get this, you may say whatever you want. Lamar Jackson, you could say, I think he presses or panics. I think you can use either word. Hurts doesn't panic.
I don't see the mature and Lamar as compared to Jalen.
The mature knowledge of the game you don't see.
Not even knowledge of the game. I think when you are the leader of grown men, you have to have a mature ability to be the steady force or the steady, the tree trunk, I guess, if you will, of the unit. And there's different ways to do that. Tom Brady, in a way, did that. Like when Tom Brady ripped you at practice, you knew that it was for a very, very specific reason, and because he was trying to achieve greatness. I think some people don't, and that's fine, different personalities, but I don't see the leader in Lamar Jackson of let's get together and as men do what it takes to reach the promised land. Have the discipline, have the approach, have the focus, have the mentality. I think Jalen does check that shit. It's always been one of the things I've loved the most about him. I mean, I've always admired that type of, dude who has discipline and great ability to achieve success and find it. And I think Jalen does have that. There's no doubt about it.
For me, talk is shit. Talk is cheap. And when I'm on the sidelines and my quarterback's getting banged up and hit and he's holding tight in the pocket and he's fucking a man in the pocket and he's leading my team, bro, I don't give a shit what he says. I'm following actions.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm following success because words are cheap, dude. People will say anything in a moment. But when you watch a guy fucking win a ball game, take off on a 3rd and 10, and you're going out there and you're moving the sticks, this is what makes me say this about your organization. Your fucking coaches get in the way of that all the time. I mean, I think the guy should be more successful.
Well, it's kind of a catch-22, though.
How many coordinators are you going to continually that are different? It's like bringing a new woman to him every day.
Yeah, but
you
isn't
don't know what characteristics you're getting.
Here's the catch-22. And I, by the way, I don't disagree with you, but I would say this. Like, you just said something about Jalen, and you said he's not the most skilled player in the world. And I agree with that. I think that's a fine assessment. I don't think that's being a hater. I think that's a fair assessment. He doesn't have the most quarterback skills of the quarterbacks. That's fair. I think most people would agree with that. So have the Eagles done a good job at getting out of him what you need when you don't have that skill, or have they limited him? Because there's a potential, Sills. If you don't have the inherent skill, right, you're never going to become Josh Allen or Joe Burrow if you don't have that skill set. So are we losing by trying to get to that point in the first place? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because what you're now
didn't develop them as much as they could have, but they turned it into great success.
So this is why you think there's more in another level, because you think they're going to try to pull something else out of him that he hasn't had pulled out of him before. Is that why you think this is more of an opportunity at being positive than negative? Is because this is maybe the first time they're going to ask him to carry the water? Because, bro, you're going to ask him to carry the water here. You're not, if you don't want him to run, you're asking him to do something completely different. And you're under the assumption, because listen, if they didn't think he could do it, they're not changing this radically, are they? I mean, I don't believe they're going to sabotage the season. Do you? I mean, they do a lot of things. They're not sabotaging.
I don't know what the Eagles are willing to do. No, and when I say that, I don't mean the players or the coach. I don't know. Like, if Jeffrey Lurie, if the report is true that Jeffrey Lurie wanted to fire Nick Sirianni at week 4 of last year, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Jeffrey Lurie was almost pissed off that Nick won because then he couldn't fire him. And I mean that. I don't know if that's true, but I could see it being true. So I don't know what Jeffrey Lurie would do. If he wants to fire Nick, I don't know. He might say, yeah, sure. Change the entire thing. Or you know what? He might even recommend it. I don't know.
But okay. Here's the last one. We'll read a couple supers here, guys. Hit the like button here. Okay. All that being said, then, why the meteoric change? If it doesn't work, everyone's fired next year. You're starting over again. You're going to bring new people in for Hurts again.
Yeah, did the owner want that?
This is what you're doing. But this is what you're doing.
I think there's a small chance the owner might have wanted that. Give me an easy out on Sirianni.
So wait, you think it's either Hurts or Sirianni that he's doing this for?
No, I've already made this very clear what I believe. I do not believe for a second that the owner doesn't like Jalen Hurts. I don't. I think the owner loves Jalen Hurts. Do I think that he doesn't think, he doesn't see some of the, I'm sure he sees it. I think he's willing to live with it. That's what I think.
All right, let's read some of these supers here, man. Guys, I appreciate you. Please hit the like button.
Philip, what's up, Philip? Thanks for the supers, brother. I know you got a few in here today. We will get to them. He says, so within the next 2 years, if we pay Davis, Carter, and Phillips, it would amount to over $75 million, and not one of them is an elite pass rusher? Yeah, fuck no.
Yeah, fuck no. You won a Super Bowl with no pass rushers.
Jaylen Carter can rush the passer.
He can. He can when he's motivated.
Jalen Phillips can rush the passer. He had good pressure rate last year. He didn't have great sack numbers, but he can rush the passer.
Wow, $30 million a year for that guy. Man. Must slap my mom around.
Here's Philip. The word elite seems subjective. I wouldn't say Hurts is elite, but in your opinion, who are the guys that do qualify as elite? There can't be many, right?
No, wait. Are we talking about elite passers in the game? Because if we're talking elite passers.
No, I want to hear elite quarterbacks.
Stafford.
You can make an argument it's only two right now. Stafford and Mahomes. Now, people are going to hear that and say, that's crazy. But Al, what I mean is, Allen is an elite talent. Is he an elite full package? I don't know.
No. Not full package here now.
He's reckless, dude. Like, he has turnovers and bad moment. Like, I'm sorry.
Bro,
look,
I think Purdy's better than Allen in the pocket.
Purdy's great in the pocket, dude. Purdy can play.
I think he's better. Allen is an overall better player, but Purdy's better in the pocket than him.
Maybe. That's why I said that. I do think Allen's a elite player, but elite is a big word. And to Philip, and to answer your question, that I think you're right. It's a subjective word, but to me, it's rarefied air. To me, it's players that you don't come across often. It's players that are extremely hard to find.
Burrow's elite.
Burrow is 100% elite. But the reason I didn't put him there right now, and I would put him there, he's elite to me. But the injuries, I mean, he doesn't play enough, dude. And maybe that's because of Cincinnati for whatever you want to put it on. But you got to play, dude, to be elite. Like, if you're not there for the season, then my team doesn't have chances.
I'm trying to think of another guy in the pocket that Caleb Williams is far from it. 58%, we're not there.
No, there's nobody else.
You know who else is pretty good in the pocket? That kid Golf in Detroit's pretty good.
He's good in the pocket, but he's not an elite player. You're talking pocket. Pocket's good. He's a good player in the pocket. He's not an elite quarterback,
though. No. Boy, people are really taking a dog shit on fucking Drake. I mean, Drake, man. I think you're wrong, all of you.
I agree with you on that. I don't think he's out for the count. I think he's going to be good.
I think he had 70% completion percentage.
He's a good player, dude. He's a good quarterback.
He's a good player. By the way, you think Houston should extend C.J. Stroud?
No, I think they should trade him. I've been saying that all offseason. Get rid of that guy. They had the best defense in football. That was, who remembers?
You know what, though? They had the worst offensive line, according to PFF and Pro Football this year.
Was that the offensive line, or was some of that on the quarterback,
Holding the ball too long.
Who looked like he was seeing ghosts and he had freaking, Tweety birds going around his head sometimes in that pocket.
Man, was bad.
When the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles earlier this year, he spoke. Very rare does he speak during the season, but he spoke during the season this year. Does anybody remember the comments that he made? We have a championship defense, he said. And what did he say about the offense? Whatever, offense is figuring it out. Houston, that was a championship defense. Now, Eagles were a great defense. That Houston defense was a championship defense. C.J. Stroud is the reason that team didn't win in the playoffs.
270 a game they were only giving up.
C.J. Stroud stinks.
Man, I got to tell you.
He stinks.
I'm going to tell you that kid, Will Anderson, in 2 years, he's going to be better than Michael Parsons.
Who?
That Will Anderson kid.
That's a big one. That's a big claim, but I can see it.
He plays the rest better.
Let's get to the rest of these. Here's Mikey. What up, Mikey Shreds? I think this might be our last one. Actually, we'll land a couple today. Mikey says, makes sense if you don't have a $40 million edge. I don't know what you're referring to, but
Mikey, I'm not paying big time money for an edge like a guy like Max Crosby, $35 million. When I could do this, I could sign Chubb for $12 million, give the other 10 to Nakobe and say to Nakobe, guess what I'm doing, Xander? Next year, you're going to take over for Bond. I'm moving off of Bond after next year. And I'm putting Dean in there. And I'm signing the 2 tackles in front of Dean.
I told you this. I wouldn't let Nakobe Dean walk. No way.
Well, if I can get him for 12 or 11, I won't. But if his agent's going to go like this guy's going to get $15 million in the open market, he's going to be in Tampa.
In my world, we call that the cost of doing business. You want to be in the game or you want to be on the sideline? You want to be in the game, you got to have the cost of doing business.
That's for damn sure, man. Big Z, show's kicking ass, man. I keep watching it each and every single morning, man. What's that?
As I get back to my effing taxes, my longtime accountant's got pneumonia. He's in his 80s. I had to find a new account this year. He said he kicked the bucket on me. He said you might want to call somebody else this year.
I heard you hired Roseman and Associates. Is that true?
Oh yeah, one of the best. One of the best accountants out there.
Big Z, I appreciate you, bro. See you in the morning.
Dude, see you later.
You got it. That is Xander Krause. All right, let me pay some bills too. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number 1 injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. It is because they win with over $30 billion recovered. My friends, this is the easiest choice you'll ever make. There is no firm like Morgan & Morgan. That's right. Like the family in Florida. It was initially offered $350K. They ended up getting back like $12 million. Or the family right here in Pennsylvania, $650K they were offered, and they ended up getting $26 million. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles.
All right, guys, we appreciate you very much. Battle Royale, we will do that tomorrow. As always, that'll be with us at 4:30. We will see you then. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll catch you on the flip side.